You're listening to Vitamin Geek.
Vitamin Geek.
Vitamin Geek.
Vitamin Geek.
You are totally listening to Vitamin Geek.
You are listening to Vitamin Geek.
You're listening to Vitamin Geek.
Vitamin Geek Podcast.
What the hell's the name of the show again? Vitamin Geek.
Hey everybody, it's Thursday, September 5th, and you are listening to the Vitamin Geek Podcast. We're back with our episode 32. We're going to talk tonight about some of our favorite superhero team-ups. I'm your host, Corey Keelan, and with me this evening is Brandon Posey.
Godzilla! That's from Godzilla.
Very good.
It's from Godzilla.
I thought it was from Gojira.
No. Godzilla.
Okay, very good. Brian Wallace.
Hey.
Eric Williams.
What's happening?
I just killed a gnat. Sorry.
That's what's happening.
And Patrick Sykes. No, seriously, I had a gnat on my table, like a fruit fly or whatever. Little bitch has been in my face all night. Patrick Sykes!
Good evening.
And we have a special guest with us this week. You know him, you love him, you like to listen to his voice, and he likes to watch and listen to all things Japanese. His name is Michael Miller.
Hello. And we gotta be careful on that all things Japanese. There's some weird stuff out there.
La Blue Girl, for sure. No, I didn't say hentai. I just said, I'm talking anime, manga. All right. Speaking of Michael Miller, we'll give a little shout out here to Anime Blast Chattanooga. And the wonderful convention coming up in downtown Chattanooga at the Trade and Convention Center, November 8th through the 10th. That is going to be very much fun, and we are going to be there. I put in for our passes today, woohoo! And so we will be down there to hang out and learn a little more about anime than we know right now, which is very limited. So far,
Hey, you're watching it today.
Yes, I was watching anime today. I'm gonna talk about that later in the TV show segment. But so far, I think Johnny Young Bosch and is it Jeremy Lee?
Yeah, Jeremy Lee, I think.
Jeremy. Okay. They are two really big voices in anime and gaming, and one of them is a Power Ranger or a former Power Ranger. So any of those Power Rangers fans, come out and meet with them and get your geek on. It's animeblastchattanooga.com. Go get your badges now, fools. All right. First up, we have a little something for you guys. And I got soundboard tonight. Did that play into Skype at all?
That sounded really quiet.
Oh, the headphone's not plugged in. Okay, sorry. Let's go in. How's that?
Good.
VG News with Brian Wallace.
VG News for all things cool and the stuff you care about. My first thing I was going to talk about is, please excuse while I focus on Patrick on this, but you're going to be my wingman. Have you heard about the comic book things that are going on? Like DC Universe doing the Forever Evil coming up?
Yeah.
Man, that sounds awesome. What do you know about that? I'm just going to let you tell me, and then I'll tell you what I read.
Just that, the only heroes, if I understand it correctly, the heroes we're familiar with, JLA and stuff, they're gone. So all that's left to save the world is the villains. The villains are in charge now. So it's going to be pretty freaky.
Yeah, it says that they're fighting the crime syndicate with villain one-shots, and the launch of Forever Evil is going to be a huge month for DC. Also, it's a big month for Marvel as well, because one can't go without the other, because they're going to do X-Men Battle of the Atom this week, which is an X-Universe crossover. It looks cool. I mean, there's some shots of the Batman and Robin Two-Face cover. I think it looks awesome. Batman Black and White, a Joker cover. So keep an eye out for that story arc, which is called, again, Forever Evil.
Hey, speaking of another DC thing, the Justice League is moving to Canada.
Oh, yeah? Aren't they in outer space?
It's going to be Justice League Canada for a while.
All right. Maybe they'll run into all the CW shows filming while they're up there. Also, I don't know if anybody cares, but Futurama had its series finale the other night. I didn't even know it was still on. Then, anybody think it's cool that Betty White broke a world record?
She did what?
For what?
For Yeah, she has longest TV career for an entertainer female, which is 74 years.
Good grief.
That's great, dude.
So
Props to Betty White.
still going strong. I wanted to let Patrick know I will spam your email with this, that they've got a teaser trailer for the documentary, the Superman What Happened with Nick Cage.
Yeah, I saw it.
So
God help
I'm gonna
us.
drown Patrick in this until it comes out.
My coma. In the hospital.
Yeah. The last couple of things I was going to say is they're talking about doing backwards compatibility with the Xbox One by using the cloud. So you buy a license for one of the games, it stays in the cloud, you can play it on Xbox One. They're trying to figure out a way to do your current collection, which I'm sure that's BS, no offense. I think we're going to have to rebuy everything. I think it will utilize the save data, though. I bet you we'll be able to bring our save data over, but I bet you we'll have to rebuy the license. The last thing I got is, I don't know if Eric Williams saw that Ian McClellan's going to play Sherlock in later years on a new film.
A film or TV series?
Let's see. Is that a TV series? A Slight Trick of the Mind.
Was it Film Nation and BBC Films?
For world-famous director Bill Condon.
That would be cool.
And then this news article got posted as we were starting the show, so I'm going to tell Corey that 2 new cast members have been added to the Poltergeist remake. Whether you're excited or
go
not.
vomit in the corner.
They got Sam Rockwell and Rosemary DeWitt, and now they've got Jared Harris from Sherlock Holmes 2, Mad Men, and Kyle Collette, who's the little kid in The Following, if anybody watches that. So I know Corey is crapping his pants. Can't wait for this Poltergeist remake. So. Oh, also, if anybody wants an Xbox One pre-order now that they've released the official release date, the 22nd, I think, instead of the 5th, which that sucks because that was my birthday, but they have more pre-orders now. Currently, GameStop has them, Best Buy has them, Microsoft.com has them, if anyone cares. But that's all I got. Pass off back to Corey.
All right, guys, thanks for sticking with us. Brian, thank you for the news. Up next, we're going to discuss some TV shows that we're all watching right now. And, and welcome Ben to the show.
Hello.
He couldn't make it for the very, very opening, but he is here now. He's going to talk to you guys about reading and stuff later, so stick around for that if you like books. But up next, we got our TV talk. And I guess let's start with Michael Miller, see what he's been watching this week.
Hey, if you guys are about to give a face-off spoiler, let me know so I can mute. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, yeah. Well, that won't start with me, so blame Corey if that happens. But I guess for me, I'll start with the one that none of you guys have probably been watching, which is Attack on Titan, which is one of the most addicting anime I've watched in a long time. I think I've brought it up before on the show, but I can't recall. But there's a lot of great gateway animes for many different reasons. Cowboy Bebop's kind of like Firefly. Berserk is like fantasy films, but Attack on Titan is just fantastic. So I recommend that. Otherwise, I did watch the most recent episode of Heroes of Cosplay.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's rip. Let's go.
Yeah, so I'll start
Favorite
off.
show on television.
I'll start off by saying I felt episode 3 kind of was like the one where a lot of fans are like, maybe they've listened, because there was kind of some more goodwill in that episode. This wasn't this week's. This is week 4 that just happened.
I
So
agree,
3 was
yeah.
the week before. And so it's like there's goodwill, and kind of, perhaps ironically, perhaps not, a lot of people hate on Yaya Han, and she was barely in episode 3. And so I'm like, I don't know if it's because they used her to portray this kind of, overarching character that's, I don't know, pressing down on all the others, if that part of her not being there, if it was just coincidental. But she was back, and so was all the craziness, and the forced editing that led to a lot of hilarity for me and my friends as we watched episode 4 this week.
So did they film one in DragonCon? I assume they did.
No, the show had already been filmed by the time DragonCon came.
Oh, okay.
Well, and yeah, because I mean, a lot of it was, I guess, the first half of this year, maybe the last half of last year. But the season ends at another Comic Con that is, not DragonCon. I don't remember which one, but I'll look it up real fast.
It's not Heroes Con, is it?
It's probably a WonderCon or something.
Yeah.
No, I thought it started at WonderCon.
I'm sure it ends on the West Coast.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But so did you like episode 4?
I guess he doesn't know.
Did anybody like episode 4?
I bet Eric liked it.
I watched it till I got to the sneak peek of Face Off next week, and then I turned it off. I'm pretty much done with that episode, especially after seeing most of these individuals at DragonCon and just getting a feeling of disgust. It's like I don't really want to watch it anymore.
I think for me, there's just like 2 really ridiculous elements in the episode. One, which is there's the pair of girls from California, I think, and they're like,
They're the comic
Crab
relief.
Cat. Yeah. Well, and this time it was kind of...
they're the most interesting ones, though. I like them.
Well, but so the extent to which they went, where the girl is like, I'm allergic to, wool or, cat fur, but let's do it anyways.
Yeah.
And then she gets sick the whole time.
How dumb was
at the
that?
end. Yeah. And, a lot of people are like, look, you may want to, sacrifice for your art or whatever, but there's limits.
Well, it was like, they got that commission from Guillermo del Toro. Why did you not just quit the con thing and just focus on that and be happy?
Yeah,
Especially
totally.
if you don't have enough time to get that wool substitute. Either, what did she say? She needed a generic version, or she needed just something totally different because she was allergic. And plus, the concept was awful. I mean, it was like, why did you pick these characters why did you pick the Grumpy Cat and everything to do when it's an anime convention?
Oh, yeah.
Her Grumpy Cat was fantastic.
I thought, but the problem was, I agree that, like, it looks good maybe on its own or outside, but yeah, they kept talking about, like, this being an anime con, we have to do something anime, and they went meme, which, there's anime memes, but I'm like, that's not the right direction.
But yeah, it's like, it had no relation to what the con was about. I mean, that was like, to me, that just didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Dude, the part where I almost fell out of my chair was when, oh god, who's the blonde girl?
Becky?
That did, Becky.
Love her. Love her.
She went to Monica Lee and was like, hey, will you partner up with me? And she's like, well, listen, I kind of hold myself to a higher standard, and I wouldn't be caught dead teaming up with you pretty much, so no.
I wanted to smack that little brat.
I was like, whoa, dude, that is awful.
I mean, did you see...
And she goes to Holly and Jessica, and they're like, yeah, sure, whatever, it's cool.
It's like, did you not see that, like, when Becky did Merida, the way she did all the, the Celtic stuff on the bow and arrow, like the bow and everything, and she got the hair and the cloak and everything. I mean, she did a really good job. It's like, well, why are you insulting her like that?
Yeah,
you better hope Blizzard takes you, or hopefully Blizzard's seeing this.
Oh, yeah.
It's for the sake of drama, for sure, dude.
Yeah.
So, I don't think that most people have the balls to be like, listen, I would never team up with you because pretty much you suck at everything you do, and I just want to break you down right here on camera. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But I love that Becky went up there and she checked on the girls, see how they were doing. I thought that was nice.
Well, and for them, and like I said, I think that they're more interesting than most on the show, and they do a lot of other stuff that's not exactly cosplay. But I think that they would pretty much have in their shop some sort of hair that was usable. So I'm calling shenanigans on the hair sickness.
Yeah. One of the other really weird editing moments I thought wasn't even as obvious as some of the forced drama, but so Monica is theoretically walking in on I guess the costume contest part, and they have her at the back of the room, and they keep cutting to a shot of the costume contest, and then they keep cutting to a shot of her back in the room, but they don't show more than like 2 feet beside her. So it's pretty obvious that she just walked into an empty room where none of this is actually happening because it's too hard to control the noise and all that while they're doing it. So, like, she's not even there at all probably, but they just did that to make the shot, work for what they're trying to do.
What cracked me up the most, I think, was when we're sitting there and we're watching it, and they're doing the prejudging, and Victoria and Monica have teamed up and they're coming in to show off. And of course, Victoria at the extremely, very, very last minute, and I can understand Monica's frustration that Victoria's, pushing it, to the limit to get this costume finished. And then when they get there, was it the antler or whatever it was, just falls right off. And I'm like, and when they find out she hot glued it on there, I'm like, I mean, why does Victoria think she's gonna why does she think this is good craftsmanship if she's just hot gluing stuff on? I mean, it's like, I'm not an expert, but I was like, I wasn't digging it, man. I was, they didn't place, and I'm thinking, well, people there doing lots of bigger stuff, dude.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, it fell off when she's standing there,
right in front of Yaya.
But then she
Han.
does an interpretive dance on stage, and the thing's sitting there, without a care in the world.
Well,
she's flailing around, and the thing's stuck to her head.
Yeah, hopefully they at least fixed it a little.
Well, I know.
Probably got that wire.
I think Yaya needs to get out there and compete again. I think she's lost touch.
So next week on our show, we'll have Yaya sitting in live with us.
Cool.
Bring
it.
I'm kidding.
Bring it.
I'm kidding.
Anybody wants to meet her?
But no, I want to meet her. I wanted to go to her table, and it was just always like a bunch of people around there, and I'm not always best in crowds, so it did not happen. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else anybody wants to say about cosplay? Whatever's.
I'm good.
Groovy. All right, face off.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be back in 5. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll send you a text.
All right.
Eric, why don't we start with you, buddy? I know you watched it.
Do what?
Or Posey, one of you guys. Talk about Face Off. What'd you think of Face Off this week?
The hogwash.
They did wash some hogs on there, I'll tell you.
No, I think the guy that should have won didn't win. The guy with all the teeth
Frank?
on his. Yeah, I don't know names yet, but
Yeah,
that
I'm
guy
writing it
was. I think that was a lot better than the mole guy, the mole person that she made overall.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a cool costume, a cool job he did. Don't care too much that Alfonso went away because he hasn't really impressed me, or Adolfo, whatever his name is.
Adolfo.
CJ was like, yeah, he has Adolf in his name, so he shouldn't win anyway. But I think that's just Nazi racism. But
You need sensitivity training.
But no, it was a good show. I liked it. There's some people on that show I just don't think are gonna make it much further, and that's my opinion.
Them noobs, dog.
Well, I really wish they got rid of the old guy. The old guy who had the one who's like, oh, the girl's like, you mean it's not supposed to be open like this? And he's like, no. I don't know. That guy sucks.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't believe in airbrushes either, apparently. I remember one of the earlier episodes, one of the girls was working with him, and she's like, we could just airbrush this really quick. He's like, no, it won't look natural. Slap it on there with this brush, sister. I'm sassy.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the girl who did the airbrush, and it looked really awful.
Yeah.
So,
They all suck. Just send the noobs home. This was a bad idea to begin with. Damn it, sci-fi.
Damn you.
Damn.
Eric, did you watch Face Off?
Yes, I watched it.
Tell us how you feel about it.
I agree with Posey. The guy with, I forget his name.
Frank.
Yeah, with the teeth. I thought that was probably the best makeup out of all of them. But
It was cool.
I have no problem getting rid of Alphonse, Alpo, whatever his name.
Dildo.
Not only, he's never really done anything impressive. It's just every week it's like it seems like he just wanted the bitch most of the time when he gets close to the last looks, and so
Yeah. I felt like it was his time to go. I mean, he could have actually gone earlier. He never showed anything great.
And also, I didn't really think anybody really done anything worthwhile for a subterranean creature. It's just like mole rats. Yeah, it's okay. I'd like to have seen a little more creative stuff.
I kind of wish what's his face could have gotten his big giant squid thing done, because that looked like it was gonna be kind of cool.
Yeah, Roy really had a really good design going. It freaked us out when he was realizing how rigid that foam was.
He dodged a big bullet with that though.
He did,
because him and RJ's artichoke.
What was the old guy who also was doing like an octopus thing?
Oh yeah, that was the newbie.
What was he sticking on the arms, like condoms, or is like they stay sticky? It's like
some kind of
it's Prozaid.
I don't know.
It forms almost kind of like silicone, I guess. So it stays like you can stick them to the arms and it'll be solid enough to have a form, but like it'll move enough to like stay on your arm and not pop off. It didn't impress.
And the mole rat that won Miranda, is that her name?
Yeah.
I don't care if they say it looks amazing. The little chiclet white straw teeth sticking out that thing, that just killed the face for me.
I felt like the teeth should be straight.
She just cut two straws, took a straw, cut it 2 pieces off, and stuck it in the makeup.
Well, can I pose
press-on nails or something? You know?
Can I pose a question?
Yes.
The previous week, when they had her and Tate won for the pumpkin head.
Yeah, that was cool.
Didn't the mouth not look almost exactly the same as the previous week? Even the sculpt kind of looked similar to the pumpkin head versus
the mouth.
The mole. I'm sick of her winning, man. I'm sick of that. Thank you so much. It's just so wonderful to win. I'm just like, and like you guys said, Frank, I think should have won. If not, then Laura's, rat should have won. Or even, what's her face, the girl you like, Corey, who did that one where the cockroaches are crawling out from those.
Lainey.
Yeah, Lainey did a really good sculpt, especially the eyes, making the character look blind and very pale, and those cockroaches crawling out. I mean, I was like, there's tons of more innovative stuff than what Miranda did. I mean, it was like, give it a rest already. Who are you sleeping with to keep winning 3 times in a row?
I'm surprised Tate didn't come out there and give her 7 or 8 hugs because she won, and they praised her makeup like he did last week.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody pretty much enjoyed Face Off.
Oh, you gotta love it.
All right. Let's get Brian back. Anybody else watch anything?
Beware the Batman.
Fairy Tale.
Whoa, we got Fairy Tales and Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about Fairy Tale, Ben.
Okay, for those of you who don't know Fairy Tale, it's a manga series that is also an anime series.
Oh, that just started coming on Netflix, didn't it?
It did. It's absolutely hilarious.
Is it great?
It is great, yes. Fairy Tale.
It's anime, dude. You're not gonna like it.
Yeah.
I don't dislike anime.
Well,
that's a good thing to say in front of Michael.
And
you might like it then.
What's exciting about Fairy Tale for me, another plug, is Lucy is done by Jeremy Lee. So we have Lucy coming to our convention.
Nice.
Not to mention
Full Metal
everything else
Alchemist
she's
pretty
done
good.
voices for.
Yeah, Full Metal Alchemist is good.
Patrick, so you watched Beware the Batman.
Yeah,
How you like it?
I gave it a shot. I actually liked the episode I watched. I really wish it was, it's just me being, I guess, stuck in my ways, a little more traditional hand-drawn animation. But I thought the concept was really cool. I think the episode was called Trust. It was where that the scientist has created some new invention, and these ninjas are coming after him, and they keep him up in Wayne Manor. But even that's not enough to protect him from the head ninja.
Have there been any normal villains yet? The regular ones at all?
Yes.
Who was in it?
The last one, like the newest one, has Metamorpho in it.
Which one's that one called? What's the title of the episode?
That's called Toxic.
I think that's the next one I've got to watch.
So I actually just caught up today.
How many are they up to?
6.
But they don't have any of your
Toxic is the
standard,
6th one.
most popular ones yet?
Not really. Katana is in it. I guess you saw her. She's been in every episode, I think.
Yeah.
Metamorpho is the one that I most recognized. There was a guy named Anarchy in one of them. Magpie, which I don't really know them. I went back and looked, and they have had appearances in comics, but I didn't know of him. I knew Metamorpho though. You know, he's that big like. He's kind of purple and white and orange.
You think you'll ever
like
see the
rocks.
Joker or Riddler?
Maybe, but I mean, the thing is, like, we've seen those done to death.
They have been in a lot.
And I think it's cool that they're doing something with these lesser known villains, you know? I actually just caught up today. The only one I had seen before today was episode 1, and I actually had to go on YouTube and watch one of the episodes. because look, listen to this. Like, on demand, they have 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And on my DVR, I had 4, 5, and 6. So I had to watch one on episode 2 on YouTube because for some reason that wasn't on my DVR and it also wasn't on demand. And then it was crappy. It was like some dude holding a camera at his TV, but I mean, I got the picture of it. I like the show though, Patrick. Patrick, I would give it at least 3 episodes before you
like
toss
Oh
it.
yeah, I mean, I've got another episode taped, and I'm going to tape more. I think there's more coming on Saturday morning, I think. But I'll definitely watch it throughout to give it to the end of the season. Like I said, I just would like a little less reliance on CG type of animation, making it so slick and fast, and a little more traditional. But I mean, that's just nitpicky stuff, folks. I'm not trying to down anything as far as that goes.
How dare you?
I know.
No, I'm with you on that. But there's some moments in this show so far, and trust that episode. There's some really brilliant moments, like when Katana is about to stab that ninja in the back of the head with her sword, and Batman comes in and grabs her arm and goes, "No, once you start,
can't stop.
You can't stop. You can't turn back once you start killing." So, I mean, stuff like that really that's what makes me excited about the show.
I think it's got great potential. I think the best thing for it is to see how it's going to end this season and then see what they've got coming next time. So, I think it's it's got great potential.
I also caught up on another show that is called Sword Art Online, and that is another anime. And I watched the first episode on YouTube, but it's like legit. It's a legitimate YouTube upload. I think the company that puts it out put it on YouTube, but it's subtitled. You can't hear it in English. So I watched the first one on there, and then I watched 2 through. What are they up to, Michael? Like 5 or 6?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly which one, but it's one of those 2.
I'm up to whatever the newest one is. I'm DVRing them. They're coming on Toonami. I don't know if everybody knew, but Toonami came back.
Yeah, really. That's awesome.
So you've got your anime fix at night if you want to DVR Toonami. But the show is pretty cool. The only thing I could say negative about it is I'm getting kind of depressed about it because everybody's dying. But like the premise is like they're playing an MMO, but it's like instead of playing on a keyboard or whatever or on a controller, they have helmets on. And what they don't know is the guys made the helmets to where they can't take them off or it'll kill them, and you can't log out of the game or you'll die. And I mean, if you die in the game, you die in real life.
Eat a waffle, you're dead.
I haven't seen anybody eating waffles yet. I've heard them talking about cheesecake.
Yeah, if you know .hack, like that's what a lot of people compare this to. Maybe a faster paced .hack though.
Yeah, because like each episode, it's like the main character's leveled up 20 levels. Like one episode, he's like, "Oh, I'm level 20," and then it turns out he's really 48. But then the next one, he's like, "I'm level 78, and I basically can't be killed," and blah blah blah. And you're like,
that is fast paced.
So there's like months in between episodes. So I don't know. I'm really hoping at the end, and Michael, don't spoil this if you already know, but I'm hoping that at the end it comes around and it's like, yeah, nobody really died. I mean, I know that's like a cop-out thing, but
Very much so.
It's really a bummer. Like, this would be the saddest video game ever because everyone freaking dies. So,
well, there's more seasons too, by the way. They don't all tie into the original storyline, though.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Man, I kind of feel like Michael's competing with Patrick for the nicest guy ever, man. Like, neither one of them have a bad bone in their body.
Well, let's see. What day is it?
Yeah, I was gonna say I can get Patrick talking about certain things and you'll hear him get mad.
Like the Superman Nick Cage. Yeah.
I love that. All right. Anybody got any other TV shows?
Does anybody watch Defiance, or am I the only one? I know Eric did for a while.
You're the only one.
God, really? It's such a geek show, and nobody watches it but me.
Sorry.
I get
I
little
just have so
TV
much catching up to
opportunity.
do.
Dude, you have kids.
It's up to-
I don't blame you.
That's true.
What episode are they up to?
They've played the whole first season.
See, there you go. That's a lot to catch up
There's
on, man.
12 episodes.
So basically, it's too late.
Dude,
Corey will never watch it now.
And I don't know if you guys are aware, but just like a month, a week, and a day from now, Walking Dead comes back on. So
A day
not
from
long.
that? A month, a week, and a day?
month, a week, and a day.
Wow. 111.
Sorry, it's soon, man. It's really soon. All right, we got to move on. Excuse me. Excuse me. Up next, I want to have a little roundtable conversation, kind of our experiences that we had at DragonCon over the past weekend. Michael, Eric, and myself were all three at the con, and we each had different experiences and stuff that we wanted to share with you guys listening to us. So we'll talk about that, and then the other guys can, chime in and ask questions or whatever they want to do. Let's start with Eric.
So, what do you want me to say?
Well, I'm kind of interested here. I'll kind of put you from an outside perspective. Tell me kind of like what you did each day to pass the time, any cool celebrities you saw, any cool panels you saw, and how you would rate this con compared to last year or any previous.
It's going to be tough.
Anticipation's killing me.
Do what? Eric, you with us? Okay.
Well, damn.
Eric's gone. He'll be
There's
back.
too much for him.
Michael.
Start with Michael.
Michael, I'll let you start out
Same
here.
questions I asked Eric, but you.
Sure. Essentially, this was my first year going in where I was going to be for 4 days. So that was already pretty exciting because that just meant I got to do a lot more stuff. But yeah, and so like I also planned to do a lot more just even like ahead of time. I've never done photo shoots, for instance. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go in and I'm going to pay for 4 photo shoots. One's going to be with the main dude from Arrow, George Takei, Kelly Hu, who's X-23 and X-Men 2, but also in Arrow, and then Malcolm McDowell from Clockwork Orange. So it's like, those are the 4 big things I'm going to do. Maybe hit up like Warehouse 13 panel for sure, and then kind of see where the weekend takes me. I ended up only doing like a small fraction of that, but then I added all these other things to it as well, which was
Not to mention keeping me from. He had to like keep me from getting lost and stuff too.
Oh yeah. Well, it's
between you and Eric. Like I would not have found anything.
It's a big place.
If I didn't have you guys around.
Did you dress up?
No, I actually I like to take a lot of pictures, but I haven't really found, I guess, a cosplay that I've really wanted to do yet. So, but yeah, because of that, definitely a ton of walking around. Just like I usually hang out on the 4th floor of the Marriott, which this year felt way more crowded than ever before. And like really early, like everybody Friday night was like, man, this is like Saturday night, which is, like the biggest night. So come Saturday night, it's like I can't move. But it was still a lot of fun doing that regardless. And I did, so I guess, yeah, briefly, like Friday, I did get to meet George Takei, which the way they do the photo shoots is kind of, I guess, different than I expected, because you meet the actor, like, barely, so it's like literally 3 seconds, get your picture and out. So I hadn't decided even at that point I was going to get his autograph, but the moment I realized I can't even talk to him, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go find him later for the autograph. And I actually, the reason I didn't do the other photo shoots is because I accidentally slept in, but they refunded me, so yay.
Oh, thank
awesome.
goodness.
Smooth.
Yeah, well, and I ended up using that to basically meet them in the Hall of Walk of Fame.
Dude, I called it the Hall of Fame. I don't know how many times all week.
It sounds like a good name. Like, sure, you walk in it, but Walk of Fame, Hall of Fame.
It is in a hall.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. But yeah, so what was cool is George Takei was the only one where I couldn't really get a photo with him at his booth anyways. And the other 2 actors, Kelly and Malcolm, that I missed the official shoots for, Like, if I just paid like a slight bit more, like like a fourth of what I would have paid otherwise for the photo shoot, then I can get a picture with them with my own camera. And I had a friend who had an awesome camera. So I'm like, well, sweet, this worked out so much better anyways, and I got to talk to them.
Awesome.
Yeah, so did that, and I'll just sum up real fast. I did do full Jason David Frank panel, did do full Warehouse 13 panel. I feel like I went to some other panel I knew nothing about. Oh, went to Billy D. Williams. That man is soft-spoken.
Colt 45 works every morning.
He was getting some of the best questions. Like, how can it be so suave like you? Or like, literally like, like, I'm stuck in the friend zone, and I want to know, how do you get out of the friend zone? And he was always just like, act silly. So, comedy works for him, apparently.
Just gotta get that right kind of bottle of Cavazier right there.
Yeah. Yeah. People knew some obscure stuff about him. Yeah, his commercial work, all these things that they were bringing up. So, that was cool. Overall, I thought it was better than last year. It was more crowded, but since I got to go more days, I thought it was better. And I'll just leave anything else to any questions you guys have later.
Eric, tell us about your experiences.
Can everybody hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So
I can hear you.
Skype sucks. Just gonna throw it out there.
Skype does suck.
Indeed.
So where did I leave off when you asked Brian what was I doing? What was I doing?
I think you said, well, basically, and then
it was the beginning.
Anyway, well, this year I knew they changed a bunch of stuff around this year. So Thursday, I go Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I leave Monday around anywhere from 2 to 5 in the afternoon. But most Thursdays, I'm part of a lot of social media DragonCon fan groups, and there's one in particular I've been a member of for about 3 years now, and we've grown quite a little family. So we have this one big meetup that we always do Thursday night. It usually happens in the Hyatt bar, but I spent most of the evening walking around because I wanted to make sure I knew where stuff was, it's moved, that I'm not going to get lost, because this has been my 10th year. I pretty much know my way around. I can get to where I want to go really quick. I just want to make sure I know where everything's at this year. So just hung out Thursday. Then as soon as the con started, it's Friday. I got up around 8:30, showered, and got something to eat, and I head out. And this is the first time I ever got to ride the con shuttle buses. I always thought they were like unicorns, but I took a photo.
Only the pure can ride.
They exist. They really do. I mean, they're just school buses with DragonCon slapped on the side of them, but still. And
some of them were breezy though, which was nice.
the one I got in the first time, it smelled like a big butthole. It just ew.
I got the butthole free edition. Apparently, I got lucky.
I really can't remember what I did the first time. I think early Friday morning. Oh yeah, I remember. I wanted to go. There was 2 panels in particular I wanted to go to. I always tell everybody, I said set 2 to 3 things that are like non-negotiable you want to do, because there's so much stuff. You're never ever. I've been in 10 years. I'm still haven't done everything. I went to the Brit Track, and they talked about 50 years of Doctor Who, upcoming 50th anniversary special. But there was another panel, which I'm a big fan of the TV show Farscape, came out in the late 90s, and those times intersected. So I had to leave the Brit Track, which I'm glad I did, because at the time they were all talking about, everybody who went to Comic-Con saw the 50th anniversary trailer. I'm a little butthurt, get the high stuff and got to see that, so I'm glad I left. I don't get to listen to all them brag about how they got to saw it or seen it. To the hey, any Whovian flow, that's a bunch of BS. Everybody should be able to see that. So I went to the Farscape panel, and that was probably the best panel I went to all weekend. Had Anthony Simcoe, Gigi Edgley. Who else was in there? Oh my God, I know his name. He played Stark. Excuse me, I'm still tired now. That was a lot of fun.
Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, you talking about on Game of Thrones?
No, he played one of the agents in The Matrix.
You mean Agent Smith?
No, the other one. The one they're not really see that much.
The one no one cares about.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hugo Weaving.
All right, anyway. After that...
The one that wipes Agent Smith's ass.
What did I do after that? I was in there for an hour. Can't remember. Oh, yeah. After that was over, me and the Sap brothers, we were going to try to do the Walk of Fame earlier before the panels, but Tom was just for some reason panel timing this year because they moved a lot of. Is somebody sawing?
Yeah, I heard that sawing. What is that?
I don't know.
Home time? Anyway.
I don't think so, Tim.
Anyway.
Thank you, Al.
So this year I noticed that a lot since they moved the Walk of Fame, the deal room and stuff, they had all these more rooms opened up, and a lot of the panel times I wanted to go to, they intersect each other. But I got to finish the entire Farscape panel. I left there, we went to the Walk of Fame, and that's when I ran into Corey. Got to meet Ernie Hudson,
yes,
which is a super nice guy. It's kind of sad he's walking around in his Ghostbusters uniform. It's cool in a way, but I don't know.
It looked good on him.
He was really nice. He's one of the few actors I've met who just generally really cared and took time to talk to everybody. Really was glad. I don't want to be a creep. It's like, I'm glad you remember me. Hey, but like he enjoyed talking to everybody. He was a lot of fun to talk to.
It's always refreshing.
And really, I'll save the rest for questions because I've done way too much. I can just go on a long rant. Everything I actually did.
What'd you give me?
Hey, I got a question real quick. Is it true that like the autographs were ridiculous and like Allison Mack was like $60?
Some of them were expensive. I believe a lot of that was contributed to this year. They were all under the Heroes for Hire organization, which was actually founded by Erin Gray, another actress, about 8
Rogers.
8 years ago. She founded this. It's supposed to make it easier for people who want to book celebrities for autograph signings, interviews, all that kind of stuff. But every convention I've been, if they're tied to, I've always noticed celebrity autographs and stuff like that. They're a little more pricey.
I bet people are going nuts for like the Walking Dead people.
Yeah, they were all tucked in the corner, and
some of them.
Well, some of them weren't there Friday. I never did get to see Lori Holden. I don't even know if she was there.
I don't think she showed up.
I didn't even get to see. I don't even see. I mean, they had outside. Originally, all the Walk of Fame was in the Hilton. And it's, for me personally, I thought it was a little easier because when they moved to the Marriott, yes, it is a bigger room, but it also allows a much greater amount of traffic to go in there. That's why it was so packed in there. But I looked on the little sign they had outside the door of the numbers of tables and stuff, and her table wasn't in there. So apparently it was on the other side of the Marriott, which I thought that was just an empty. They were using it for the ball, but there was another room next to it where they had a few more celebrities in. I never even went in there.
They had some on the very bottom floor too, because I had to go to the photo shoot down there, and so like Lucy Lawless and a couple others were
they had
over
William
there.
Shatner, Richard Dean Anderson, Lucy Lawless, and I can't remember the fourth guy was in there.
Somebody was with Richard Dean Anderson from what's that show?
Oh
Stargate?
yeah, it's the blonde woman.
Was she charging $75 too?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Stargate, and yeah, MacGyver's great and all, but I would just went down for Lucy Lawless.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there he goes. Brian, the person who was asking questions. I had a good time. I actually, dude, I honestly believe Susan had a better time at the con than I did. Because, Brian is out for a minute and won't come back. Okay, so she did better with the crowds than I did. The crowds are just crazy, man. I mean, it is cool, and there's so much cool stuff to look at and do. One thing I was kind of surprised about, though, is like the Marriott lobby, or wherever we were hanging out, where all the cosplayers are and stuff.
Yeah.
They started clearing out a lot earlier than I thought it would.
Yeah, that's something new this year that I noticed.
That was odd. And I don't know if it's because people were going to raves and, movies or whatever, but that was kind of odd because a couple times I was like, well, I'm not sleepy yet. I want to walk around. And then I was like, there's no one to walk around. And then, it was cool, though. Spent a bunch of money. But, yeah, overall, it was a good con. I'd definitely go back next year. But I don't know if I'll be able to. So I got to play it by ear for a while.
Well, I mean, this being my 10th DragonCon, I mean, I'm still going to come away, from the experience. This year, this felt like something was missing this year. And I've talked to a few other people who've been many years of veterans like me. And we all kind of agree. I'm not saying I had a great time. Don't get me wrong. Even a bad DragonCon will still wind up being a lot better than most good conventions. But this year in particular, it's just, I always tell everybody that the energy, like when you're at the convention like this, it's a certain energy, man. It just hits you. It's like, I don't know.
It's like the only thing I can put it into another experience I've had is when you're waiting outside. Like, has anybody here ever been to Bonnaroo?
No.
Nope.
Okay, so Bonnaroo, everybody knows what Bonnaroo is, though. You're all familiar.
Yes.
Huge music festival. Okay, so when you're waiting outside the gates of, so Bonnaroo is the whole experience. It's the campground, it's the concerts, it's everything. It's the shops and everything. The part where all the concerts happen, though, the main concerts that are advertised is called Cinaroo. Okay, so when you're standing outside the gates of Cinaroo, waiting for it to open for the first time, there's this insane level of energy building up, just getting bigger and bigger and bigger until they open the gate and start getting you in there. I would equate DragonCon to that, like walking onto DragonCon premises after getting your badge for the first time. It's like it's the same feeling.
And usually it stays at really intense, high levels of energy the entire weekend. But this year it felt really off. It's I think a lot of the factors were, for one, the weather. Holy hell! But the heat and humidity can really suck the energy out of a person.
Ooh.
And sometimes Atlanta, you get lucky. This kind of season for the Southeast, there's hurricanes brewing, and just there's all kinds of things usually that will keep high pressure off Atlanta. It's the luck of the draw. Last year there's a hurricane, kept high pressure off, and it kept windy in the mid 80s. And also the crowds this year, Saturday being particularly awful, which granted most people will buy one-day passes. From what I'm understanding now, those are going away next year.
Whoa.
Oh,
and
and we heard from a fairly reliable source that they actually might start capping next year, right?
No, it's official now. They're capping next year.
All right, I think that's a good idea.
And also, I don't know what it is. This is something I can't stand, but this year it seemed like a big deal. There was a certain, strange, impatient, and aggressive vibe that people were seem to be giving out, which there's lots of people, man, but usually, I've been years where everybody just kind of gets along, everybody enjoys talking to everybody, but I don't know what it was about this year, man. Something's just like, I don't know.
I'd say most people that we were around at the con were having a good time and they were happy and cordial and everything. There was only a couple people that really just needed to be punched in the head. Like the guy at the comic book long boxes was like, if one more person bumps into me, and he looks at me before I get near him, I'm like, dude, what are you gonna do? You weigh about $1.25. Look at me, son. So whatever. It's a good time though. I think everybody should go at least once.
None of those things was going to keep me from registering in 2004. I did have fun. Somehow the little things, there was a big drama that was surrounding the singer Voltaire and another band called the Crux Shadows from being there again. I don't see why the hell that's a bad idea. I don't see anything wrong with having house bands for a con. Granted, Voltaire himself, this is his 15th year in a row he's played DragonCon, and he said himself at his concert, hey, it's like I said, it's not a right to play at DragonCon, it's a privilege. And I apply each year, and each year they let me come back, but this year he's actually, to a lot of people who just do not like this, he's going to not reapply next year. He's going to bow out and see, kind of shut up the people who say they don't need to have reoccurring bands. And also the running disaster that was the vendor halls, which this year, granted, this was the first time that they ever used the America's Mart. But kind of, not really bad layout. How do I say bad layout? I really don't know. I walked in that building and I forgot which street was which direction. I had to go out to a gerbil tube and look up the buildings and knew exactly where I was. And like you said earlier, the crowds, they were evaporating way earlier than they usually do. There were times where it'd be 4:30 in the morning, man, and there'd still be 20,000 people wired just dancing around the Marriott lobby. So I don't know. I had fun this year. It just seemed like something was wrong. Something was off.
Well, the main thing that was, we all had a good time hanging out as a group. That That was the best part of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, actually, for me, my energy for this year was probably up, if only because there was like twice as many friends as I knew, and since I went from basically going 2 days, 2.5 days at most, to 4 days, it was like, whoa. So I at least got to see, like you guys, I didn't even know some of you last year at this time. So getting to see you all hanging out, like what was it, Sunday night and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, Sunday night, me and Michael
Sunday
just walked
was
around.
awesome.
Took a buttload of pictures.
Yeah. And we went to, Corey got to go to kind of a party thing that Shy Guy was at, Professor Shy Guy. So that was neat, because I've never really done either a DragonCon party nor an off-con party, and it was technically both.
I will say this year, I usually have some, like I was telling Michael Sunday night, there was one party that I got invited to, and I don't think anybody know what a furry is.
Yeah.
So I got invited to a furry party. Let's just say they're interesting. I don't want to go into too much detail, but it's not often you can say when you walk into a hotel room, there's a horse, a penguin head, and a bear on top of another teddy bear. That just sounds like a bad joke, but I'll explain it off the air if anybody really wants to know.
Yeah, because I still love the fact that you got invited despite not being in a furry outfit.
That is interesting.
It's because I went back to the girls, the Geek Girl Counter. Oh my God, girls! Like, what's that party we got invited to?
The Geek Goddess party.
I went back to that and I started socializing because I'm a social butterfly. I just like, Anyway, bounced around and I found out about this and I was like, okay, cool. I'm checking it out. This is the time of night where I was actually alone because I split off from everybody. Half the group was at another hotel. Some went back in the room of sleeps. I'm alone. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go get crazy a little bit. That's how I stumbled across this. Yeah. But that wasn't that night. I think that was Saturday night. There's another party I got to go to in the Hilton Tower Bar, which is a big glass dome on top of the Hilton, not the Hilton, the Hyatt Hotel. And I went up there to talk to a few friends of mine from one of the groups I'm in. And I got to meet Adam Savage, Mythbusters, who's apparently is a huge Blade Runner fan, because I immediately started asking about this video he did on YouTube, but he made the Blade Runner pistol from Deckard, the hand pistol he uses. So that branched out like a 20-minute conversation just with Blade Runner. Anyway, sorry, I can go on a rant.
You're good. Anybody have any questions about DragonCon?
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, I think Brian had all the questions.
Oh.
Brian did have questions. Okay, well, if Brian comes back, we can answer his question. All right, let's move on. Okay, speaking of conventions, and Brian had a cool idea for a new segment on the show. It will be where we kind of bring up like one convention that we're either excited about or we've heard about or we just feel like it needs mentioning, and it's called Convention to Mention. So on this inaugural Convention to Mention segment, I thought I'd go ahead and take the reins here. There is a con coming up very near to all of us in the great city of Dalton, Georgia. It's called HalloCon. Spelled just like Halloween, so it's HALLOW Con, CON. And that is October 25th through the 27th at the Super 8 Convention Center in Dalton, Georgia. If you want to have an experience very different from DragonCon, this con is actually capped at 400 members. So it's going to be much smaller. It looks to be horror movie and Halloween themed, or probably more horror books. They've only got about 6 guests, it looks like, but it is a small con. They're all either authors or illustrators of horror-related things, and they've got links to all their websites. If you go to hallocon.com, you can get to that. The price of admission is $35 for the whole weekend. At the end of this month, it will go up to $50, or if you pay at the door, it will go up to $50. Now, the registration process is a little different from your modern cons. You actually have to print the form out, fill it out, and send it to them with your check or your money order or whatever for your tickets.
That sounds legit.
But apparently a lot of people go to this. Like, there's people who go to this every year.
Yes.
What I've seen on Facebook.
400 people go every year.
Approximately 400 people. But here's the thing, man. Okay, so it's $35, but apparently that covers your food, drink, and like alcoholic drinks. So you are fed all day, whenever you want to eat at the con suite.
This is the convention that originally started in Chattanooga.
Wait, it's like Chatacon. Yeah.
Yeah.
But a bit cheaper.
Cheaper and just straight up horror, apparently. And apparently after 8 o'clock at night, you can have liquor drinks. So, Ben, you can come out and have a whiskey with me.
Enjoyed.
Yes. And, like I said, the guests are all like authors and stuff like that. So it seems like it's more of a literary con. They're going to have panels and stuff. They're going to have a maze of horror and a costume ball and gaming. So there's something for Posey. He loves the gaming. They're gonna have room parties, which we all love room parties, and a slave auction. I'm not really sure what that means.
Oh, I know what about those auctions, don't I, Eric?
Yeah, he found out
zombie.
No, it's where you auction off your significant other.
What a fun time was that?
I bet.
It's all weekend. It's all we heard at FanaFest. I want to go to this auction thing. It'll be great.
I thought they were auctioning off things.
But also they're auctioning off people, and then we had some more. Oh, it's your significant other. So I started telling Pete, he's like, "Well, it's gonna be funny for us, but not for you two."
We didn't go though.
If you do, I mean, the thing is like 15 minutes from my house, but like if you do want to get a room, the rooms are very affordable. You can get a king or double. What the hell was that? Somebody just hack up a worm? What just happened?
Worm.
It's just poltergeist shit all over the place tonight. Craig T. Nelson and the worm.
Oh, wow.
All rooms, you can get a king size or a double, like 2 doubles for $59 a night. That's very reasonable. You can also get a jacuzzi suite for $75 a night.
Oh, shit. It's on.
This price does not include breakfast. Our breakfast menu will include Belgian waffles, Quaker instant grits, Quaker instant oatmeal, cornflakes, raisin bran, bagels, donuts, English muffins, juices, milk, hot chocolate, coffee, and tea.
That's a lot of bread, man.
There's a new addition to the breakfast menu, guys, and Eric Williams will especially appreciate this. The new flavor of Bubbalicious Bubblegum, biscuits and gravy.
So you can go to their website and look at pictures of their place, and I'm looking at the Black Wolf Tavern where the con suite will be, and it looks like a fully finished basement. What it looks like
with a dance floor.
Yeah, they said they had some extra hardwood floors. Like, we'll just make a big square on the carpet in here.
So I'm definitely going to this thing. It's very affordable, and like I said, it's really close. I'm actually debating on the jacuzzi suite at this point because this thing ends a day before my 2-year anniversary with my wife. So I was like, hey, we can just celebrate our anniversary by having a jacuzzi suite. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, but that went over well.
15 minutes from the house. So hallocon.com, guys, October 25th through 27th. Check it out. That is our convention to mention. And up next, we have Brandon Posey, who's going to talk to you guys about the Vitamin Geek Kickstarter.
About westerns.
I guess because a shotgun has a kick to it.
Yes. That gun kicks.
Oh, jeez. All right, guys. This week, the Kickstarter is actually something that me, Corey, Michael, we all kind of were a part of, sort of. Back, I guess it was 3 or 4 months ago. I haven't put it in that long. But Video Games Live. We went to this concert. They said Kickstarter coming soon, and it's here. The Video Games Live Level 3 Kickstarter is on and popping. It's got 7 days left to go. They're still about 80,000 short of their goal, which, if you know Kickstarter, that usually comes in the last 2 or 3 days anyway. So I wouldn't really worry about that. If you go on there right now and you pledge $25, you get a copy of one of their first 3 CDs in digital form. And then it kind of just goes up from there. Obviously, $40 right now. Actually, that one's gone. It's gone. There's a bunch that are already gone. Because the previews are selling out pretty fast. So only the top tiers are left, which I think is kind of going to make people not want to do it. But anyway, $25 gets you all 3 CDs in digital form when this thing goes, when it ends. I think it says February 14th is when you can download that. Let's see. But yeah, Tommy Tallarico's Video Games Live, Level 3, Kickstarter of the Week for this September, this 5th.
Very cool. Thank you, Posey. Up next, I think Patrick is going to... He hates that so bad. Patrick's going to give y'all some
That's why he keeps playing it. For all the stuff you want but just can't get fast enough. I got a few things for you. Got a few specialized items for a few people on tonight. In case anybody hasn't heard, the Star Wars #1 came out yesterday. I just gotten it today. Just flipping through it, the art itself looks great, but I can warn you, it's really going to be unlike anything you're used to as far as Star Wars is concerned. So it looks like it's going to be a really fun read. It's $3.99. Yeah, it's a little pricey, but the format's higher grade than standard, so I feel like it's worth it. And according to previews, by the time you get up to about close to the holiday, you'll be up to, of course, issue #3. Once again, still looking really awesome. Let's see here. A few other things. Just one little bit of merchandise from my man Corey. If you love Grimm, this TV show, they're releasing their first 8.5-inch bust from Grimm on sale December 11th for $79.99. And this will be of the main character. You can see him. He's holding an axe. He looks like he's about ready to wield it. That's, how do you pronounce his name? David Guintoli?
Nick?
Yeah. He plays Nick.
I don't know his real name.
That's the actor.
His name's Guintoli?
Yeah, Guintoli. It's good looking little bust you got going there for the character. So you might want to be interested in picking that up, of course. And then, of course, you've got DC issues. You've got 0 Year, which is, of course, still maintaining really great read. Once again, I will still tell everyone, if you haven't read a Batman book in a while, get down to your local comic book shop and get all of these 0 Year issues that have been released up to now. It's really shaping up great. And they're about to have a far-reaching arc called Dark City, which begins in Batman #25. So, and it's going to span all of the books. Along with, of course, what Brian was talking about earlier with Forever Evil. But one thing I'm excited about, I know guys are probably excited about it, and my wife's excited about this. She might actually wind up starting reading this. Harley Quinn is getting her own comic book, folks. Issue #0 is coming out. Looking pretty cool. They've redesigned her costume and look again. She looks more like she just got out of a roller derby. But
oh yeah, I saw that. Is that like confirmed artwork?
That's the cover. Yeah,
cool.
What you see in previews this week is the cover to that. That's on page 115. But
Eric's gonna love that. Though.
I'm interested in picking that up. I think it's going to be pretty cool. I think she's one of the most underrated characters in DC going right now. And of course, you've got a lot of the other standard issue fare coming your way as far as DC is concerned. As far as any further statues, they've got some Jim Lee-based statues from the New 52. They've actually got a really neat Wonder Woman era statue. It looks like it's kind of a throwback to the 40s, but it's based on art by Jim Lee, which looks pretty cool. Got one or two other things I'm kind of going to skip ahead a little bit, just for Eric. Let me just skip ahead for just a little bit. I normally do this towards the end of the month, but since I found out that Eric is a huge Farscape fan, it is due out. Let's see if they've got a due date on this. But it is going to be in full Blu-ray, and it is the Farscape Complete Series Mega Set.
And Mega Set?
the mega set. Let's see here. You've got 25 disc set, collects all 88 episodes of the series along with 15 hours of bonus material, including 29 commentary tracks, over 90 minutes of deleted scenes, interviews, and more. Available in Blu-ray and standard DVD formats. Your Blu-ray format's going to be, according to catalog price here, is going to be $150.
There's one thing I have to contradict that preview.
Yep.
That when they first released the Farscape episodes on Blu-ray, that it is not true high definition.
Really?
A few years ago, if you really wanting these right now, I don't know about the mega set, but if you're really wanting some high quality, it's just regular DVD. A few years ago, they were released by AVD Films. You can find these box sets. I highly recommend purchasing those over the regular Blu-ray versions. I mean, again, I don't know anything about the mega, the one they're re-releasing now, but
yeah,
that's the best transfer, picture and sound.
I will say one website that's really good for DVD reviews, especially Blu-rays, is DVDfile.com. If they get a review of it, folks, if you're interested, we'll go ahead and we'll have a look at that, or you can go ahead and have a look at that at the website, but we'll try to have a look at that and see how they're rating it. And for Ben Hawkins, yeah, save up your pocket change, my friend. Mass Effect 3 M6 Carnifex full scale prop replica gun. According to Entertainment Earth, coming September 2013. Yes, it's $400.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, they're coming out with some really awesome Mass Effect stuff, dude. And something else. Yeah, something else. If Corey is willing to go on with this, I'm going to start getting the Entertainment Earth catalog items that are coming, getting the catalogs and letting you guys know of the really big stuff coming out, especially a lot of Halloween stuff coming pretty soon. They're coming out with Freddy and Jason Mego style action figures in time for Halloween, which look pretty sweet. But I've already should have the catalog here real soon, and I'll start pulling some items out of that to post about as well.
Sounds good to me.
Alrighty, man. That's all we got for this week. We'll see you next week, folks.
I don't know if my bank account will hold out, but that's cool. All right, thank you, Patrick. All right, up next, folks. Eric. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I hear something. Don't hear that? Eric's going to give you the BG Vault.
The Vault Troll's eating little animals right now.
Are they good animals?
Should.
They're pretty good. They're crackers.
Excellent.
So this week's pick from the Vault is actually, dude, because this movie is now being released on Blu-ray by Shout Factory. And that movie is Doll Man, 1991. Tim Thomerson at its finest. Has anybody seen Doll Man?
Yes, but a long
Let me finish this cracker because it's going to sound weird while I'm chewing.
Missed that one.
Anyway, Doll Man is a low-budget sci-fi action movie made by Full Moon Full Moon Features, who are made famous for making. Anybody's probably seen the infamous amount of Puppet Master films. I'm sure some of y'all have seen one or two of those. Anyway, this film actually is a fun movie. It has your action, gore, and lots of low-budget special effects. Also, Tim Thomerson from the movie Transfer stars as Brick Bardo, a cop from the alien planet that chases after a criminal through time and space and ends up on Earth, where he finds that he is actually the size of a doll, 13 inches tall to be exact. Which really makes it makes no sense. He's from Earth, but he lands on Earth in another dimension, and he's size 13. He's basically the size of a ruler. He finds the size of the doll, and the criminal joins up with a gang, so he has to stop Brick since he injures one of their men. This is low budget cheesiness at its finest. Does anybody know Tim Thomerson?
Yeah, he's Near Dark, Scanners,
Trancers.
Dude, I always mix those two up.
I don't say how Scanners are stupid.
Just the names, man. The names are very similar.
The dude's head explosion is pretty epic, though.
Oh yeah.
I have an animated GIF that I like to send to people when they give me a headache. So anything wrong, I just send them that. I mean, not much to say about this movie. It's if you're a fan of Full Moon Features, which pretty much that describes my childhood when it comes to video entertainment. It's 13. What was the tagline for the? Hang on, I had the slogan all set up for this. Oh crap! He's the toughest cop from the planet. Oh, Arcturus, which looks like Uranus, but I'm reading that wrong. I'm not going to read the rest of that because that's not safe. Anyway, Dollman, good fun B movie. Don't really have much to say about it, but it's being released on Blu-ray for $10.
$10? Oh hell, that's a good deal.
You want to check out cheesy special effects and high definition?
Dude, all you gotta say is Tim Thomerson, and people should go running for this.
He's the unofficial king of B movies, or B sci-fi fantasy movies.
I'm watching the trailer right now. It looks pretty hilarious. Exactly.
Tim Thomerson, Dollman, get that shit.
So that's it.
Thank you, Eric. Back to your vault. All right. Up next, we have Ben, who is going to talk about reading stuff in Ben's Book Bonanza.
That's right. Today, we are going to feature Stephen King's The Dark Tower series. Now, I know none of you guys read, so none of you have read this.
Actually,
but it is. You have read it? What did you think about it?
I've read it in the graphic novel form. Does that count?
It does not count.
Absolutely, it counts. What are you talking about?
No.
Damn it, there's words in there.
Do you know how many words are in the series? Have you seen the book
all
The
these
Stand?
things.
It looks like an encyclopedia.
Well, that's why
I
I didn't
have
read
read The
it.
Stand, the actual book.
The first edition or the extended edition?
The first. Heck with that extended edition, man.
I read the back of the VHS tape.
With Gary Sinise.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, the actual series, The Dark Tower, is a lot of people consider it Stephen King's magnum opus because it does rather amazingly tie in almost every other book he's ever written. It connects all the different stories and many of the characters from the other books together in this one series. Now, for me, the series was a bit of a roller coaster. I began with the first book, The Gunslinger, because one of my good friends said that it was one of the most amazing things he'd ever read. And to be honest with you, I hated it. It was only 250 pages or so, and I got to page 200 and put the book down and did not pick it back up for a long time. And that's not something that I do very often. Now, that being said, I think The Gunslinger should have been the first 3 chapters of the next book, The Drawing of the Three. Because when I finally did pick it back up and finish it and then move on to The Drawing of the Three, it was essentially just a setup for how Roland got to the beach where he sees the 3 doors. Now, Drawing of the Three was an amazing book. It actually got me started reading the series. And then you move on from there to The Wastelands, which I did not think was as good as Drawing of the Three, but still rather fascinating book, especially when you begin to see all the different elements of his other books coming into play. Then we reach Wizard and Glass, book 4, and that is absolutely hands down the best book in the series. Now, if you are not looking to read the entire series, you can read Wizard and Glass standalone, because essentially it is a flashback to Roland's early life when he first becomes a gunslinger. It is a marvelous book. It is one of Stephen King's best. It's one of the better books that I've ever read. Now, moving on to the next few books, in my opinion, everything begins to go downhill from there. Now, there is, in Wolves of the Kala, there is a wonderful scene where they literally have golden snitches from Harry Potter that are flying grenades and lightsabers from Star Wars. So they have a battle scene with creatures that use these things. I know it sounds...
Is that good or bad?
It's good in the book. It sounds really crazy, but it really is good in the book. By this time, they've got, all of the main characters have basically become gunslingers. They're fully trained at this point. They're kind of coming into their own as a team and seriously ready to kick some ass. And the end of that book, though it does take a while for the plot to progress, really does show just how capable they are as a team and how formidable they are. Then comes the last two books, and honestly, I really hated the last two books. The last book, especially, it seems to me, the last book is actually called The Dark Tower, and the first half of the book, I was so excited, and I was like, okay, all these things are going to come together. You know, this is wrapping up. It's spiraling down. They're finally going to get to the Dark Tower. They're finally going to climb the steps. And about halfway through the book, a turning point happened in which, in my opinion, Stephen King looked around and realized that there's a ton of loose ends that he has no idea how to wrap up. So he just starts killing people. People start dying for the stupidest reasons in the stupidest ways, things that don't even make sense. It's just, you know, a lot of Stephen King stuff is really out there, but in my opinion, there was a lot of things that he did there that just he was unable to explain satisfactorily. So now the last little battle scene where they actually do get to the tower and all that happens, and then the coda afterwards, which a lot of people hate the coda. I actually like the coda. The core story of Roland getting to the tower was done pretty well, but all the side character, pretty much every single side character that you grew to like, he totally ripped off. And the last problem that I had with it was the last book was essentially an ego trip for Stephen King, because he did write himself into the story. They actually go to the author Stephen King's house, the characters do, and meet him and kidnap him. So, I'm not kidding.
That happens in a lot of books.
Yeah.
Though. So would you say every character, you would say every character he's ever written, there's some form of him in this series?
I would not say every single one he's ever written, but I would say a good 90% of his books. There is some reference to something, either a character from that book is in there that they meet, or because the Dark Tower is the center of the wheel, and the spokes of the wheel are all the different dimensions of the universe, basically. So the Roland and his team of gunslingers are traveling through these different dimensions. Some of them have been destroyed completely. Like the one Roland is originally from has been completely annihilated, and they actually meet some of the people that are destroying. They have teams of people, like factories, where they are destroying these dimensions one by one because they're trying to break the Dark Tower. And that's what Roland's trying to stop. That's why he's trying to get to the Dark Tower to save it. But
because he's a big old sweetheart.
Well, that's one thing he is definitely not.
He's a little
one of those dimensions.
Yeah.
The little groping Bible peddling salesman from Maximum Overdrive was in there.
Probably. Did you guys read Salem's Lot?
Saw the movie.
Okay, Per Callahan.
Yeah.
Right? He's in there.
Oh.
They meet him. He has a fight with a bunch of vampires with him, actually. Hearts in Atlantis, the low men in yellow coats. They're in there. They chase them for a while. All kind of different stuff. They meet a creature that kind of Pennywise from It.
No way.
It's
really?
not Pennywise, but it kind of explains where he came from, sort of.
That's cool.
Like I said, there's all these references, and I read a lot of Stephen King novels before I read this, kind of in preparation. There were a few I didn't get to that I wish I had, but yeah, if you read those and then read this, and you like subtle references and stuff, which I do, then it's really kind of amazing. But like I said, the first book I hated, the last book I hated, but the fourth book right in the middle was pretty awesome. So I do recommend that you read The Dark Tower. Just understand that it's going to be kind of a roller coaster ride. You will be pissed off at the series at some point, sometime.
Are they still planning to turn it into a film?
I think so, but it's kind of like Wheel of Time in that nobody can agree on exactly what to do. It really is. There's so much in there that, what can you cut out or what should you cut out is hard to decide.
It's like one of those big things. Like, I hope I'm not. I apologize if I'm interjecting or something here. It's like, like you were talking about turning into a movie. I read in Dark Horizons, and I haven't honestly read any news for a long, long time. Like Ron Howard was supposed to do it for quite a while.
Yeah.
I think it's like reached the Dune level where everybody's like, you don't know how to please everybody. You don't know what to put in, what to take out, kind of thing. It's kind of like that real, it's like that big epic level you're talking about, how huge it is. It's like, what do you leave in? What do you take out? Can you condense it to one movie, or does it have to be two movies?
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing that happened with Watchmen, and the same thing that happened with Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yes.
And those turned out to be good movies.
I love Fear and Loathing.
They could do it. Yeah, absolutely. The movie kicks ass.
It can be done, but the real hard thing about Dark Tower is it's so confusing. There's so many. I mean, Stephen King's weird anyway, but to be able to explain all the things that happen. I mean, there are things that happen in The Gunslinger and especially in the Drawing of the Three that impact that don't come up again until the very last book, but they are critical to what happens in the last book. I mean, there's a lot of things like that, and things that just don't make sense, and that they do explain sort of in the books, but you can tell that it's one of those things. Once it gets to a movie, they're going to have it happen and then just hope everybody read the book and knows what's going on.
Can it be one of those things where if it gets to a movie level that they can actually improve it?
Some things I think they could do that, yes. There is one scene that I would love to see as a movie, though, where a house actually comes alive and tries to eat them while they're inside. I think that would be actually kind of amazing to watch.
Cool.
It's I believe it's in Drawing of 3, but it's when they get Jake, the kid, when they're trying to get him out of his world and into their world, his house tries to eat him.
Weird.
Yeah. But the way it's described in the book is just crazy amazing, and then when he finally comes out of his door, because there's 3 doors, and when he finally comes out of his door, there's the gravity is different. So
that's freaky.
Yeah, so he comes out the door and he's flying forward, but then gravity on the other side of the door is going sideways. It's hard to because when Roland and them are looking at the door is in the ground, and they open it up like a cellar door. But to Jake, it's actually in the wall. So
weird.
Yeah.
But a fun weird.
A fun weird, yes. A very fun weird.
All right, cool. Thank you, Ben. All right. Eric has something to read.
Why, yes, I do. Tell me.
I had a contest. He's going to read that,
I didn't want to interrupt. It was something I found earlier, and I figured it'd be a good time to share with you guys and our listeners. So apparently, DC is having an open talent search. Has anybody heard about this? I've just now stumbled across this.
Nope.
Is this for the Harley Quinn thing? I read about it earlier.
Let me go. Let me just read their whole little thing here. It says Harley Quinn is no stranger to the little breaking entertaining for a good time, and now she's going to help one talented artist break into comics with DC Entertainment's open talent search. That's right, we're looking for someone to draw one page of Harley Quinn alongside some of comics' most amazing talents, including Amanda Conner. Excuse me, eating crackers. Amanda Conner,
which we met.
Paul Pope, Bruce Timm, and a few other surprises. Maybe even you. So beginning this November, Jimmy Palmiotti, do they say it? Whatever.
Palmiotti.
I'll just say Jimmy Palm. That's easier. And Amanda Conner will be writing the madcap adventure of Harley Quinn, and they'll need all the help they can get. Excuse me. Submissions can be in pencils, ink, or pencils, inks, and colors. Please keep in mind your level of work should be professional quality. Now, I'm just going to skip their next thing. It says, good luck. And they're all going to look at these in person. So read the following script page and give us your original artistic interpretation of those 4 panels, what they should look like on a single page. So I'll read all 4 of these panels, and just to get y'all, I want y'all to visualize these in your head. If you, this is a real thing. So panel 1, Harley is on top of a building, holding a large detached cell phone tower in her hands, as lightning is striking just above everywhere except her tower. She is looking at us like she cannot believe what she is doing, beside herself, not happy. So panel 2, Harley is sitting in an alligator pond on a little island with a suit of raw chicken on. She has a suit made of raw chicken. Rolling her eyes like once again she cannot believe where she has found herself, we see alligators are ignoring her. So panel 3, Harley is sitting in an open Harley is sitting in an open whale mouth, tickling the inside of the whale's mouth with a feather. She is ecstatic. She is ecstatic and happy. Like, this is the most fun ever. Granted, all these have to be on a single page. Panel 4. Harley is sitting naked in a bathtub with toasters, blow dryers, blenders, and appliances all dangling above the bathtub. She has a cord that will release them all. We are watching for the moment before the inevitable death. Her expression is one of, oh well, guess that is for me. And she has resigned herself to the moment that is going to happen. So if you're feeling creative and you would like to break into comics, take all 4 post panels and put it in a single page. That is free. I'd like to know about that contest that's going on right now.
I'm more excited about the team working on this comic, dude. Amanda Connor.
What?
We just met her freaking Saturday or Sunday, and her art is fantastic. Yeah, that'll be a good book, dude. I actually kind of want to get that now. That's cool. All right, we are going to move along here. A little segment we like to call What's Up With You. I haven't heard his darling voice in a while, so I'm going to start with Mr. Miller. And I'm going to say, hey, Michael, what's up with you?
Hey there. That is a good question. I guess still mainly DragonCon recovery, honestly. Even as I said,
I'm just going to say, you knew this was coming. So.
I know, but I didn't know I would go first. But yeah, I'm working through a lot of photos. And actually, something that's inspired me, and this is good timing, so it's not too bad, but is one thing I've really wanted to do is kind of like Egan with Cosplay in America. Is he's like his new book, he's trying to take some behind-the-scenes photos of cosplayers doing their thing. I also am looking for ideas that aren't quite the mainstream to do. So something I've been doing lately is taking pictures of geek tattoos, of which there are many. And if you know me, I definitely don't have any and don't plan on any, but I really kind of admire the level of, I mean, clearly it's permanent, so you're basically like, this means so much to me, I'm putting it on my body permanently.
There's some pretty impressive ones out there.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's, yeah, because that's really what got me too, is it's funny, like most of the time at cons, it's when I'm waiting in the lines that I start to notice this stuff, because, you know, DragonCon, you're there for like a while. So like, literally the picture I'm editing right now is this guy that was in line with me to meet George Takei, and he's got a Ghost in the Shell, the Laughing Man face on his arm, he's got Afro Samurai, he's got Bleach, and that's just one part. And so I was like, dude, you know, I just have to, if it's cool, get a picture. And he's like, yeah, no problem. So I've been doing that a lot more, and DragonCon was definitely a good opportunity for it. Usually I don't just go seek it. I'll figure out how to do that later, because sometimes it's weird, like, hey, can I see your tattoo? But I'll figure that out. So mainly that, and then just, yeah, editing a lot of these pictures and checking out some of the video. Oh, I do have this cool idea, and so I don't know if you guys see this a lot, but something that's really big in the last year, I know, especially with anime cons, but it's true for ones like DragonCon too, is a lot of photographers are switching over to become videographers, and they're using steady cams and stuff like that to get some really cool like cosplay video, lip sync video. And something I want to do is a lot more, I literally just learned this today at work. Our photographer was doing this for my office, is time-lapse photography. So I want to, the next convention I go to, which will be Anime Week in Atlanta, at the end of this month, I want to do time-lapse photos where, it'll just look like video, but you can do it with a normal camera of, like, conventions. So, because it could be something cool to do for Anime Blast as well, so always looking to tie it back somehow.
I know this year I've been seeing on the hula hoop cam at DragonCon. Did you see that one, Michael?
Oh, yeah, I didn't see it like while I was there, but I've seen a couple people post about it since. I need to actually watch it.
Yeah, they took a GoPro camera and strapped it to a hula hoop. It's pretty cool done. I think it's a little tougher to come up with original ideas when it comes to videography.
Yeah, actually, that's my biggest complaint. Is so many of them just look all the same. So when you can really, like, either be creative or, you have an advantage if you're at DragonCon and you can just capture some already amazing, cosplayers. So no matter how much your video looks like everybody else's, if you're showing like the best Galactus, the biggest Totoro, all that stuff, then you got an advantage. But yeah, I'm always looking for people to be more creative, and hula hoops definitely new.
GoPro pogo stick or something like that.
Yeah,
I can pogo stick.
Just gonna agree, pogo stick.
Oh,
that's a security concern, Eric. She's gonna put her eyes out, dude. Come on.
All right. No, Corey. High School of the Dead taught us that physics.
That's a great show.
I was telling Michael before the show I watched the OVA today.
That's less great, but still interesting.
Yeah, what the hell was the point in that? I mean, really.
Yeah.
Is that bathtub episode all over again, except even worse.
With poor writers.
Yeah.
And animators. The animation was crap too.
Speaking of writers and animators, Ben Hawkins. I'm not even talking about writers and stuff, but what's up with you?
What's up with me? Well, as I said,
that never works. What's up with me? It always sounds weird.
Points for trying.
So, as I said before, I've been watching Fairy Tail lately. I also, watched Die Hard, the latest one, and Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. So I enjoyed both of those movies. The Die Hard one seems to be getting a little repetitive. It was like, I don't know. It was not suspenseful at all to me. But a good action movie. And
is that It's a Good Day to Die Hard?
I think so.
Where he meets his son or something like that?
Yeah, where he meets his son, yeah. In Russia. I think it being in Russia is what made it a little less good. But to go to Chernobyl, that was fun. But it was a pretty good movie. But
nothing says fun like Chernobyl.
That's right, and machine guns. Lots of machine guns.
You've been looking at their tourism ads there, Corey.
Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I am reading the Bone Season. It's the new book that I'm reading.
Is that about the rap group?
Don't think so. It's about an ulterior or an alternate universe. It's kind of like ours, except about 100 years ago they discovered that clairvoyance is actually real. You can talk to the spirit world. And it was subsequently outlawed, and all clairvoyants are hunted down now. So, of course, this book is about a girl who is a clairvoyant. She can actually launch her spirit out of her own body and slam it into someone else's and knock their spirit out of their body. And
like astral projection.
Basically, good news for her is she can put her spirit back. Bad news for most other people is they can't. So she can kill people that way. She actually does in the first little chapter of the book.
Ouch.
But she also finds out that there are creatures that are completely spirit. They're not from this dimension, so they have no mortal physical form. And they are actually kind of in control of most of the world at this point. So it's interesting.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. So it was recommended to me by Brian Shepard and Karen Spivey. Apparently they loved it, and they can't wait for the next one to come out. So
that's always the mark of excellence when you're itching for the next part of the
That's right.
series.
So we'll see. So hopefully by the next podcast, I should have this done, and I can report on that book.
Groovy. Something to look forward to
Absolutely.
for you literate folk. Patrick Sykes,
Yes.
I have a burning question, a burning in my loins.
Yikes.
It burns when I
Get that
pee.
segue.
What does that mean?
What could that be?
What's up with you?
There's a few things. Wife and I had a free night last night, so we of course caught up with Face Off, and then really nice thing of her to do, she stuck around and watched Heroes of Cosplay, and after watching that, and of course, she's heard us talk about all the conventions and stuff, DragonCon and everything. She actually wants to go to Conuga and maybe even cosplay.
I think that is a great decision, especially Conuga. It seems like it would be really good for. Is this her
Yeah,
first
she's
one?
never done anything like this before.
Oh, yeah, it's a really good first con.
I recommend everybody first timers to do small cons before you do a big one.
Good deal.
Absolutely.
She's saying like, well, I could do Tomb Raider because she loves that, and we're looking into that. Or she says, you could be the Doctor and I could be Rose. And then, Corey, you had the idea of her being Bellatrix Lestrange. She would love to do that. I told her about that. She just flipped out. I said, well,
yeah, dude.
Let's go to Barnes & Noble, see if they got any wands.
Because she's already got the right hair color and stuff, right?
She's more of an auburn brown, but I mean, we could either get a fright wig and tease it up, or, we could easily do something to fix that. That's no big deal.
We can just get that. What's that Halloween stuff? It's not permanent. It washes out. It's just spray. You could just spray that stuff on there, and that
Cool.
probably
I've
works.
used that. It works.
And she just actually while we're doing this, she sent me a text, and she wants me to put together a diagram to teach Gracie how to draw people. Like it's going to be really elementary kind of things, just elementary shapes and everything. But to start to get her to start to understand the shapes, she can correspond the shapes with the actual shapes, like rectangles and circles and triangles and things. But learn how to start doing some elementary drawing. So I'll be helping her with that with her homeschool. And that's going to be a lot of fun because how I like to. That's another thing with winter onsetting and less work to do outside. I'll be concentrating more on drawing, getting your stuff done, Corey, and some other projects finished. And I'm just sitting here waiting. I just with bated breath for this Friday the 13th documentary that's due out next Friday. The girls are going to be gone to a church function out of town, so I'll be staying up till all hours of the night watching that thing.
11 hours,
it's
right?
long.
Party at Patrick's. Everybody's invited.
Let's go, man.
This is not a party unless you were just hardcore about Friday the 13th.
Bring it, man. We'll do it. It's going to be 2 Blu-rays and 2 DVDs. It was originally going to be 3 discs, they said, but they upped it to 4 because they wanted to make sure they preserved the video presentation quality, what have you, of the documentary. So they upped it, but didn't upcharge anybody. They're not going to charge anyone any more money. So if you guys are interested in that kind of thing, listeners, still get in there and pre-order it, dudes. It's going to be out next Friday the 13th. So celebrate in style. And that be what's up with me.
Sweet.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, buddy. Eric Williams, what's up with you?
Pretty much nothing. That's the best I can explain it. This past year at DragonCon, I done a no-no. I spent so much time trying to make time. I wanted to make sure that I hung out with you guys. Well, not really that much. Actually, pretty good on that front. No, but I usually take breaks during the day, but I burned both ends of the candlestick. I tried to spend as much time as I possibly could with all of you guys to make sure you're enjoying yourselves and finding your way around, and we all get to hang out. But I was also trying to make time for meet and greets, certain events, and pretty much I have exhausted myself. So most of this week I haven't done nothing but just going to work, come home, sleeping. I managed to watch Face Off, and for some reason I watched Dread twice. I'm not gonna say anything. And I watched the movie Dread twice. Other than that, I've just been sleeping, man,
Have
since
you seen
Monday.
Dread already?
It's a good movie. I like watching it.
Dude, did I make you mad? I'm sorry.
Right. I'm not mad.
I support watching Dread twice. I mean,
yeah.
Let me throw a disclaimer out. If I sound like I'm irritated, upset, generally angry at the world, I'm not. I'm just super exhausted from this past weekend. So I'll be back to normal in a few days.
I would do anything for you. You just let me know.
I'll take up that offer, my friend.
Am I hearing Bette Midler's "Wind Beneath My Wings" here somewhere?
You were the one with all the glory.
No, I'm super exhausted this week, so.
By the way, everybody, I'll be sending out a list of what we need to bring to Patrick's party.
Gazoos.
There you go. Awesome, bring it.
That's what's up with me. Sleep.
So everybody let Eric just rest, okay?
Chill.
Damn, leave him alone.
Chill.
He's sick of signing autographs, okay? Jesus. All right, Brandon Posey.
Well,
What's up with you?
well, I didn't go to DragonCon. I had fun in Chattanooga. Friday night, we went and saw The World's End, the new Simon Pegg movie with Nick Frost.
Awesome. How was that?
That movie was awesome. It wasn't like the other two. I mean, overall, it didn't catch you and get you and draw you in like the other two did. And the ending kind of was a little, I don't know, pompous, I guess, and weird. But overall, I really liked the movie. It was really funny. And, I'd give it like 4.5 capsules on our capsule rating. And then something that might, make a couple of the panelists here happy. This week I have started watching and gotten past the first episode of Game of Thrones. I'm on episode 5 now. Waiting for CJ to catch up so we can continue watching that.
And I
just get... yeah, it's gotten better.
How far does episode
You're ready
5
for
go?
lots of talking.
Okay, I don't know what just happened.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, how far does episode 5 go? I lose track of how far the episodes get in the story.
Well, I haven't actually seen episode 5 yet. I've seen 4. 4 ends with Tyrion, the midget,
yes.
getting confronted in the tavern.
By Cat.
Because they found his dagger.
Gotcha.
That's as far as I've gotten with that. I've also
you're not very far at all.
No, not at all. I think we started watching it on Sunday, but then we watched a couple episodes, and then or maybe it was Monday because it was Labor Day. It doesn't matter. Anyway, we watched a couple episodes of it and really got hooked. Also got to episode 10 now of Doctor Who Series 1, which is the Eccleston version. I still can't say that I'm interested in it yet. It still isn't pulling me in because it's still kind of crazy. But I am kind of marathoning it to see, if I'm going to like it or not. I just watched the episode while we were getting ready to get on the air about the weird thing and where they meet Captain Jack for the first time.
Oh, that's a good one.
One with the face masks,
Yeah,
with the children.
Yeah, which if you go back to the very beginning of us talking on the text, I kept saying that. So episode 10 is the conclusion of that story. I haven't seen that one yet, but I actually watched 4 episodes at work last night. Just kind of marathon them as I was sitting there. It was interesting. I think the problem I have...
Once you get the Dalek episode, it'll be better.
Well, the Dalek episode was 4 episodes ago, or 3 episodes ago. Because it was a Dalek episode.
Oh, no, whoops, never mind. I'm going to shut up. It gets better, trust me.
Spoilers!
Dalek was episode 6.
Anyway, spoilers.
I was saying it was weird because the show I think could be better. I think it just, I don't know. It just seems like if it's just 10 to 15 minutes too long per episode to me, because some of it kind of drags, and I don't know if it's just the British storytelling method, because it's different. It definitely is 2 different ways of telling a story. So I'm not sure if that's why I'm not pulled into it like I am American, type dramas like Grimm or, TNG or whatever.
They do long story arcs. You got to pay attention to them. You'll miss stuff.
Yeah, but a lot of shows do long story arcs. I mean, hell, I used to watch Grey's Anatomy, and while it's not that geeky, it still had a long story arc, and you had to pay attention throughout the whole thing. But that's not the issue I have. It's not the long story arc. It's just their pacing maybe is not as quick as I'm used to with American television, and so it kind of does drag me down at times. And I kind of felt the same way with Game of Thrones. I think sometimes their pacing is a little too slow, but it's a little more interesting to me because of the period that it is, and I don't know.
They're trying to stay with the book too. There's a lot of stuff that happens in the books.
Yeah.
So then I also started watching The Wire, which was an old HBO drama, which is supposed to be based on real crime in Baltimore. I watched the first episode of it, and it is amazing.
Is that the one with Mark Wahlberg's brother?
If he's in it, he's not in it for a while. I know the one I'm watching now has Idris Elba in it, and also the black dude from Fringe.
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah, apparently they didn't want any major actors in this thing. They all wanted a bunch of character actors to really let the story shine. That's what I was reading about it, and it's actually really good. And apparently, further on in the series, like season 3 or 4, they actually started using real cops who quit, who have retired, or they've used ex-cons to play, characters as well, and give feedback on the actual like storylines and authenticity of the story. And it also has a guy from one of the football players from Remember the Titans is in it. It's kind of weird that I even saw him. So,
isn't the guy that plays Tyrese on Walking Dead in it?
I haven't seen him yet, but he may be, because there's a lot of good African American character actors in this show. And this came out in 2002, so it's like 10 years ago, 11 years ago. So if he's in it, he may look different than what I'm used to seeing him. So, because the first time I ever saw Elba dude was The Office when he was playing whatever the guy's character's name was. But yeah. But really, he's awesome in everything he does. I think they're trying to push him to be some sort of Marvel superhero. Everybody wants him to be something. So, but haven't really read much comic-wise. Trying to get back into that. And that's about it.
Cool. Ramos, what's up with you?
Currently trying to sell my house, and that's a pain in the butt. That's why I had to leave for a little bit. If anybody's ever done that, but I'm not going to bore you with that. I've been playing. I've been playing Resident Evil Revelations, the DS port. It's actually really, really easy. Like, if you want a game where you don't really have to learn a lot of controls, I guess because it was on the DS, it's a really straightforward, easy game to follow, and there isn't much to do. It's just kind of like you see the same enemies, and then you say, well, why do you play it? Doesn't it suck? For some reason, I can't stop playing it. I don't know why. I just want to know what happens. But it kind of leads me into my my next subject, which is Defiance, and I'm almost watched the whole first season. And it's just, if you want to know what Defiance is, just imagine Firefly as far as sci-fi goes, then on hyperdrive, like a million different creatures, languages, things going on. Like, for some reason, I'm hooked, but I have no idea what's going on like half the stories. Like, I have no idea. I don't know how the planet got... I'm going to have to read the Wikipedia or something, man, because there's just so many different races and things going on, but, like, I still want to know, like, certain things. Be like, who's this guy? What's his backstory? I gotta know. But, I've been really addicted to that. I finished Orphan Black, if I didn't say that before, which was awesome. And that's it. I still read Walking Dead comics if anybody reads them. And Negan's still a pain in the butt. Still just hanging around. Nothing's changed. You haven't missed much if you haven't read anything in 2 months, Ben.
I have not, so thank you.
Yeah, nothing. Nobody's died. Nothing.
Nobody's even died? Holy crap.
One guy dies that's not even that big of a character. He wasn't even one of the main people. So, big deal. So, that's it, man.
Excellent. Well, for me...
What's up with you, Corey?
Couple things. I had a lot of money left over after DragonCon.
God, here we go.
And so I'm just going to post this link in here for anybody that hasn't seen it. I went ahead and purchased that.
In case you're wondering, that is $500.
life-size Daredevil bust from SideshowToy.com, and it looks amazing. It's not here yet.
The only thing I'm excited about is I really want to get my picture with it.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, come over and get your picture with it. I'll have him sign your autograph. And
Everybody get a picture for the website.
And charge you $10.
Well, we're only gonna charge you like $20, okay? So I'm gonna make my money back on this thing.
You bought this thing?
Dude,
I bought that thing.
Explain to him how much money this thing costs.
$542 after shipping.
You want to hear? Did you seriously just buy it?
Yeah.
Because if you would have said something, I could have gave you a Sideshow $40 off card.
Oh no!
Okay.
Seriously, it came with my Avengers thing, and $40 is just enough where you can't buy anything.
Yeah, basically.
But you think you're getting a deal.
If you still want to give me that, I will buy something else.
Oh God, here we go.
Like, no, Susan, I have a coupon. It's okay.
I had to get Daredevil a friend to talk to in the middle of the night.
They're gonna give me like $25 off my next purchase because I bought this big ass thing. So 40 plus 25, 65. Boom! I'm like halfway there to something. So,
I think you ran out of video games to sell, man.
I know.
Dude, I still got 3 stacks. So if anybody needs
None
some
of
more
which he
games,
has
let me
played.
know. I've played half of them. Come on. See, at DragonCon, did spend some money there. Bought a lot of prints because I do love
Like
prints.
animal print?
I bought
Zebra.
no, like comic book character prints. Bought some graphic novels, and actually, I think we're gonna end up having the Jesus, I can't remember his name. Neil Gibson is his name. Yeah, that's it. He's from the UK. He's independent comic book artist or author, writer, I should say. He's not an artist. He has this series of books called Twisted Dark. I bought the first one. It was like $5. I was like, what the hell? And I took it back to the room, and like while people were getting ready, I sat there and read, the first little bit of it, and I was like, this is pretty cool. So I went back by the booth and picked up the rest of his stuff. I think we're going to end up having him on the show fairly soon to be a guest and talk to us about his comic books.
Well, that sounds like a show that Ben will have to be on.
Yeah, for sure.
Except he'll rip them apart. He'll be like,
yeah.
I'll be nice. I will be honest.
Patrick mentioned Beware the Batman earlier. I caught up on that. I'm really liking that show. And Sword Art Online, start watching that. I'm trying to watch all of Trigun.
Yeah.
Right now. Yeah. I'm trying to really become an anime head, man.
You're doing a good job.
I think between hanging out with Ben and hanging out with Michael, it's really getting into my mind.
I will tell you this: the people I've not read the manga for Trigun, but people who really love the manga don't like the anime as much. But since I started with the anime, I don't have that problem. It is a really good show.
Yeah, I also went anime and then started reading a little of the manga. So I feel if you do it that way, it's just like, oh, sweet, there's more to it. Not like, oh, they messed it up.
Right. So good job, Corey.
Thank you. One thing I did that's not, it's podcast related. I finally got all my stuff set up on my new computer desk.
Nice.
So I'm actually sitting here in my new chair with my chair mat underneath me and my mixer to the right, 2 monitors in front of me.
Can I ask you a question?
It's nice.
Are you just like made of money, dude? I mean, do you have a mortgage? I just don't.
I do have a mortgage. I don't.
Bill Gates over there.
No, dude. Like, okay, so DragonCon, I sold a bunch of stuff and I saved a bunch of money for it. I don't really go out to lunch to eat anymore. I pretty much the only time I go out to eat is with you guys on Fridays for trivia. If you stop going out to eat, you save so much money.
Dollars there.
Yes. If you buy a loaf of bread and peanut butter and you're happy with that, you're not only going to be able to keep up with your calories better and probably be healthier, but you're going to save shitloads of money. So, yeah. Oh, I do want to rant about something real quick. How long? You guys all live in Tennessee except Ben, right? Have you guys been paying sales tax on Amazon shit?
No.
They sent me that form.
Yeah, well, they just
supposed to
email, and I just laughed at it and deleted it out of my box.
Yeah, you just delete it.
No, it's now they're tacking sales tax on everything now.
That's their solution for it. Next year, we'll all start having to pay sales tax.
Man, I better buy my Xbox One before next year.
next year, dude. My last purchase had sales tax on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
Dude, I was planning on buying it before next year because I'd save $50 on a $500 system.
Yeah, everybody I've talked to that's been buying shit off Amazon said, yeah, they charge me sales tax. I just put something in my cart just to see how much it would cost, and it added an additional $13, and I was like, what? Still free shipping, though, because of Prime.
Yeah.
So I'm still going to buy shit off of there, but that sucks.
God, why did we have to get just in case there's any listeners that just don't know, we got a distribution center in Tennessee now, so they charge us sales tax.
Suckers.
No, Ben, they charge us now, too.
The Georgians?
That's what I'm saying. Yes. My last 2 purchases that I bought this week have had
Well,
sales
it's about
tax.
time y'all get your freeness taken away.
We pay state income tax, homie.
Yeah, we do.
So hold your hay.
Sucks. $1,400 last year alone.
Yikes.
All right, we're going to take a little hate break, and we'll be back with some superhero shit. Stick around.
Hey, this is Brian O'Halloran. You might know me from such great films as Clerks, Clerks 2, Vulgar, Brutal Massacre. Anyway, you're listening to, well, I don't know, someone's probably got a gun to your head forcing you to listen to this, but you're listening to Vitamin Geek. And you know what? They're so nervous that they were so nervous on asking me to even do this spot. Like, I don't even know how this show's even going to last if they're too nervous to ask people questions. And yet they're on the radio. I mean, I get it. They're on the internet or radio, whatever, because, look at them. I mean, I hope it's not like a video podcast. If it is, I don't know. Anyway, you're listening to Vitamin Geek. And to be honest with you, these guys don't look like they take any vitamins whatsoever. So, they could use a couple, and then maybe do another show called, like, Exercise Geek, maybe, because they could use a couple of those, too. Anyway, I'm going to go. Later.
All right, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. We're back for our second half of the show here. We have lost a few. A few men fell off, but there's still 4 of us here to carry on the geekdom. We've still got Michael Miller.
Yes.
There he is. Ben Hawkins.
Hello.
And Patrick Sykes.
Yay.
And myself. So we are going to talk about our favorite superhero team-ups of all time and kind of where we see those team-ups working out in a film. Like, because it seems like you've got your ensemble cast in Avengers. DC is definitely working their way up to a Justice League film. So it just kind of makes sense for us to talk about team-ups and what would work best on screen and what works well in the comics. So I think we'll start with Michael and ask him for his number 3 team-up.
Awesome. So even despite you clarifying this before for me, I initially was thinking this was like ones that exist already. And so
it can be totally can be.
Well, and that's good because I am still going to change like one of these for the future ones, or at least how I'm going to phrase it. But so my boss gave me a book recently because he's a huge Star Wars geek, but he's not so much into like Star Trek or comics and stuff like that. Really, it's just all Star Wars. But he happened to have the Star Trek X-Men crossover, and
okay.
So yeah, it's actually in researching for this, I found like the list of like top worst team crossovers from comics, and that was one of them. But even though I haven't read the book yet, since Star Trek movies are big right now, and they're kind of re-energizing the X-Men films, I'm gonna put that as my number 3 for one that I would love to see. It's never gonna happen, and again, according to critics, maybe it shouldn't have happened the first time, but I think it would be interesting to see.
Wait, so who's putting out the Star Trek movies now?
Paramount.
Company? Yeah.
Paramount owns it.
And then you got Fox has X-Men. Yeah, you're probably right. It probably will never happen.
That's just one of many reasons.
Ben Hawkins, what's your number 3?
Okay, I'm going to go with, and this is, when you said this to me, I was not thinking of things that already existed, just things I would like to see. The Hulk and Superman as a team.
Cool. I know they have fought before in the comics.
They have fought before. I feel like, Justice League is great and all, but if you watch like Superhero Cafe, he has a point. Superman has all the powers of all the other Justice League people, essentially. So it kind of like they either have to make the other people more than they were or dumb Superman down a little bit for everybody to keep up. But I feel like Hulk, while, he's in Hulk mode, he may be a little out of control, but he can keep up with Superman physically at least. So I think that would be an interesting team.
Cool, good pick, man.
Corey, do you recall when they fought before? Like, was it? Sorry, now I'm just kind of really curious.
No, there's some crossover comics. I think it's Patrick, help me out here. Is it Avengers versus Justice League?
I think so. Yeah. I believe there is one that they did go that they did crossover against. Brad was telling me something about that.
And the ones that end up fighting are the Hulk and Superman.
He said something to me about, and I could be getting this wrong. I apologize if it is. He told me something about where they're all starting to gang up on Superman, and I think it's Thor and Hulk and a few others start to gang up on him, and somehow Superman gets some leverage somewhere, and he gets Thor loses his hammer, and you know how. We even saw in the Avengers movie, nobody's supposed to be able to pick up Thor's hammer but Thor. Yeah. Superman picks it up. And everybody just stops what they're doing, stops pounding each other into the dirt, and they see that he's picking this thing up. Of course, it's taking every ounce of strength Superman has, which you can imagine, and everybody's just, their jaws are hitting the ground. But that's just what Brad was telling me about that. I really would love to get to read it.
It looks like the book is from 1979. DC and Marvel co-published a crossover series involving the two teams, the JLA and Avengers, written by Jerry Conway and drawn by George Perez. So that's pretty cool.
Cool.
And I think that the whole Thor's hammer thing, like, it's what is the line that Odin says? Whoever should be worthy to hold Thor's hammer.
Whoever
blah, blah,
holdeth
blah.
this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor.
That's it. So, I mean, they've done that a couple times. I think in one of the, was it Ultimate Avengers cartoons? It was some of the first Marvel cartoons that were really good. But I think Hulk picks up Thor's hammer in that cartoon. And I was like, what the hell? But, whatever. So that would be it'd be interesting to see them team up. But also interesting to see them fight, because Hulk could take all the damage from Superman and vice versa. So cool, good pick. Sykes?
Didn't ever read the book until now, and I'm about halfway through it. But the Watchmen, here's your pre-established one, but the Watchmen, just such a unique group of characters to read about and see if they could even work together, and even see them on film. I know a lot of fans either loved or hated the movie. I've got Steelbook edition, from Walmart, but on Blu-ray now. But it's like, it's just one of those movies, like Dredd, Ben, where you just got to watch it multiple times to really just soak it up, what's going on in this thing. And then now reading it, I mean, they really stuck close to the source material. I mean, I know some fans got upset, but it's like, I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, I just really, really enjoyed the team up of the characters. Loved seeing, was it Silk Spectre 2 and the Owl 2? Night Owl getting Rorschach out of prison. I mean, I
thought you were going to say getting it on.
Well, let's see. Yeah, that's about how long after the prison break?
Not long. It just gets their blood boiling.
It's a good warm up. But I really love that cast of characters. That they all have their own each unique identity and personality. Just really love. I would love to see more of them.
Oh man, I cannot say enough how much I love Watchmen, and that was one of the highlights of DragonCon for me. And I should have mentioned it earlier, but so much to say. There were several Watchmen characters being cosplayed. I saw at least three comedians. Two of them were the Minutemen version, where he's wearing the like yellow suit with the purple collar.
Yeah.
I saw one classic Silk Spectre. I saw several modern Silk Spectres. I also saw a couple Rorschachs, and one of them had a mask that changed.
Oh, how do you do that?
It's heat sensitive. The ink in it is heat sensitive, so as he breathes, it changes temperatures. And just like not the whole thing changes, but just the part around his mouth and his
That's still
nose.
pretty badass.
Still, that's innovative, man. That's awesome.
I've got video of that too. Susan captured a video, so I'll put that on the Vitamin Geek page so everybody can see it.
I still have to say,
But,
I have Kretschmar's copy of Watchmen that I still have not read. It's in my drawer.
Shame on you.
I know.
Read it.
You
I
could
need
read through
to.
that pretty fast, Ben.
I really could. I just, whenever I have it with me, I'm like, yeah, I really need to read that, but I've got work to do, so.
Yeah.
And I know you're a fast reader, but do be forewarned, that is a very dense comic book.
Yes, I've flipped through it.
There's a lot in there.
Yeah. I'm excited about
if
it.
you read all the Black Freighter stuff especially.
Yeah, that's the only thing that really gets a little tedious.
Mhm.
Is the Black Freighter stuff.
Well,
and I'm glad they left that out of the film unless you get the absolute. Was it the Ultimate Edition?
The $90 edition.
Yeah, where they reinsert it back in and extend the cut to like another half hour or an hour.
But you can buy the Black Freighter Blu-ray for $6.
Yeah.
So whatever, it's all good. All right, my third place I put and mainly because I watched Batman the Brave and the Bold. I don't know how much of that you guys have watched, but Batman and Blue Beetle make a really cool team. If you watch Brave and the Bold, you'll get to see actually two different Blue Beetles team up with Batman, because Blue Beetle's been like 4 or 5 different people throughout the years, and it's just a really cool team up. The newest one is kind of a younger Hispanic guy, and he his youthful energy bounced off of Batman's wisdom and kind of brashness is really cool. It's just a cool combination. I dig it a lot. And if you guys haven't watched that cartoon, it's on Netflix and it's really good. You might be like, why the hell am I watching something where Batman smiles? And I'm like, whatever, dude, this is really good. And Diedrich Bader is the voice of Batman, which sounds like a bad idea. Totally a good idea. Very cool. Michael Miller, number 2.
All right. So kind of playing on the already established, but I want to see it in a very specific realm. So Green Arrow and Green Lantern. I want to see, though, specifically with the Arrow TV show, since they're working in more DC characters. I think it'll be a while, since most of the ones that the other DC characters that are in there are some of your more, I guess, realistic, not quite overt super, heroes with, clear, like, powers like Superman or whatnot. But I think that would be really cool, even if it's just a brief cameo for, like, a season ending to kind of bring in Green Lantern for that.
Well, they are bringing in the Flash.
Yeah, that's exciting.
I mean, they've got to have it cast because they said they're going to start shooting that episode here, I think, the end of the month. And they're going to have him on. They're going to use this as a springboard for his character to get another series.
Sweet. Yeah, because I figure, even if DC can't do as well with movies, maybe they'll do all right with TV.
One can hope.
That's kind of how it's been. Like, Marvel hasn't really been doing much TV. DC's been doing the shows that have been successful. Marvel's had the successful movies, and then DC's had the better animation.
Yeah.
That's true.
But DC's really got to crack the code on this motion picture stuff, man.
Oh, man, here we go.
With the program. Corey has a chip with his shoulder.
I like Marvel too, man. I'm not a Marvel hater. DC has my... Marvel's got my favorite character, but DC's got my favorite book and a lot of my favorite things to read now. So I'm probably more like 51-49.
Yeah, see, that's kind of where I am. I'm a fence straddler.
I mean, I wouldn't have spent $500 on a Daredevil bust if I didn't love Marvel.
You have a point, sir.
All right, Ben, tell us about number 2.
Trump card. Okay.
Yeah, see, there you go.
All right. So while we were talking here, I kind of changed around my number 2, since we have been including pairings that have already happened. I did enjoy the Teen Titans episode where the Flash made an appearance. Anybody who watches Teen Titans, if you've seen that episode?
I watched the show everyone hates, Teen Titans Go.
That is not good. No,
it's all I got, man.
I know. I'm sorry, but no, the episode where the Flash. I don't know if it's Kid Flash or the Flash. I can't remember. It's been so long, but he shows up and does a little appearance with the Teen Titans and helps them out. And the way they presented him and the way that he worked with the team was pretty great, I thought. So
sweet. So Teen Titans plus Flash.
Yeah, it was one of the better episodes of that I've seen.
Awesome. I've also heard really good stuff about Young Justice. I missed out on that completely.
I've seen 2 of those episodes. Those 2 were pretty good.
Yeah, I want to check that.
Nothing
out.
really happened much, but it was interesting.
All right, Sykes, number 2.
I don't know if I hope people aren't really going by the movie adaptation that they did of it, but I always thought that one of the more intriguing team-ups of recent years, and yeah, it's another Alan Moore, so you probably know where I'm going with this one, is League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
I mean, you get literary
Really?
Yeah, I mean, that's
there are good characters in there.
It's amazing you get those
You're
literary
talking about
characters.
the book, right?
Yeah, the book.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I hope people aren't really going by the movie when I say this. It's like, because that movie was, I'm not even going to go there. It's too late in the evening. But the books are really cool, man. And I mean, it's a good way. It's a good segue to get younger readers into reading the classics. I mean, in an indirect way.
That come together that you wouldn't really think about putting together necessarily.
I never would have thought of that. I mean, when the movie came out, I was like, this is a comic book? And I was like, damn. And I went and picked that up. I just got World Without a Superman by Alan Moore today over there at Buddy's shop, and I just couldn't resist. It's there on the impulse rack. But, I picked that up. But, I mean, those are good books, and there's not just one. There's a series. So you need to that's a good team up, like you said, Ben. You wouldn't have thought of putting those characters together.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't have thought of putting Alan Quartermain with anybody.
No.
but it works. I mean, it just works.
I mean, best shining moment of that movie is having Connery playing Alan Quartermain, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that just kicks ass. Come on, Grandpa. I'm like, I would never say that to Sean Connery. I don't care if he's 100 years old and in a wheelchair.
He's gonna punch you in the titties, Sonny Jim. You're lushing hair, Goldfinger.
Get you right now, boy.
I'll screw you in the morning. All right.
Take the rapist for 700.
That's their
rapist
Mr. Connery.
for 700, Trebek.
What your mother said last night, Trebek.
You're lushing hair. Pussy galore, I must be dreaming.
Hold on right now, Money Penny. I want to undo that to know you.
All right. Number two. In showing my DC love is Animal Man plus Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
You got the red protector, you got the green protector. Mm-hmm. Who else is going to fight off the rot?
Nobody.
Exactly. These are 2 of the unsung heroes of the comic book world. I honestly just
underrated.
Super underrated, dude. And their stories are so good. I mean, it just depends on who's writing it, of course, but
can't wait to see what Guillermo can do with that.
With the Justice League Dark?
Yeah. And if Swampy's going to be in it, man, especially that.
Oh, man, that would be fantastic.
That's gonna just go nuts.
Jeff Lemire writes Animal Man, and that is one of my favorite things to read. It's just too good. And when you get Swamp Thing in there, and you start reading Swamp Thing, and you got Animal Man in there, it's really good. I wish everybody would read it. Just give it a shot. I mean, Animal Man, it sounds stupid. I realize it sounds like the dumbest comic book ever, but it's so good. Very, very good. All right, back around to Michael. What is at the top of your list, my friend?
All right, so I'm gonna pull out Watchmen again, and I haven't started reading the new comics yet that they've made for them. But
before Watchmen,
yeah. So
they're not bad. Everybody shits all over them. They're not bad.
Well, I tend not to be enough of a purist for that usually to bother me. So yeah, it's more just I've spent too much money on other things like TV and prints and stuff like that. But what I kind of want, again, kind of molding my original idea of taking one that's already established, is they could almost do like a Days of Future Past kind of idea, pulling an X-Men again, where you have the original, the Minutemen, and then you bring in kind of the newer iterations of the Watchmen, but at the actual age, like the Minutemen were at in their prime, and kind of see how that would play out.
Interesting.
So, the Minutemen plus the Watchmen?
Yeah, plus, I mean, obviously some of them, like you have like one or two, like the comedian, he's the original. Not that he lasts very long.
Hey. that's my character, man.
Well, okay. But yeah, just so... I don't even know like what the stories would be necessarily, but I just think it'd be really interesting having those characters exist in the same time period, even if just
Dude,
for one moment.
I'd buy it. I'd buy the hell out of that.
Yeah,
dude, you have like a Days of Future Past with the Minutemen and the Watchmen.
Mm-hmm.
Timey-wimey.
Indeed.
For those Doctor Who fans listening. All right, good pick. Very interesting. And DC, if you're listening, do it, please. Come on,
make this happen.
Alan Moore is not going to agree to anything. He does not give a damn. He's going to go, whittle a stick and be crazy. With all due respect, the man wrote some amazing stuff, but he is batshit. Ben Hawkins, what's number one, dude?
Number one, I'm going to go with Judge Dredd and Cable.
Ooh,
this is what I would like to see happen. I feel like they would get along really well.
You think so?
I think so.
Or you don't think one of them would be too gruff or something, and like there'd be a power struggle?
Define too gruff. No, but that's how they get along, though. See, that's how they work.
If they'd have one fight and then become chums.
Yeah, they're gonna fight at the beginning. The first 25% of the movie will be them hating each other, and then it'll be like, oh, well, so you're a lonely badass too. Cool. Let's go kill the bad guys. That's how it'll go.
I like the way you think, man.
Can you picture that movie happening? I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'd watch it, dude. I'd pay for that. I'd pay money.
Absolutely.
Good pick. Very, very cool. Sykes, number one.
I love when we watched Avengers. I loved seeing Captain America and Iron Man go at it, and then eventually kind of working together towards towards the end of the movie. And I know they really clash a lot in the comics, especially with Civil War, and how that played out. But I would love to, like, if they only did a team up of characters like that, I'd love to see the both of them just be in the movie themselves for one film.
That would be good.
So just a team up of those two guys and see how that would work out. Because I mean, they were just like about ready to just slug it out before the action really got started on the helicarrier there. When they're in the lab and they're just coming up with one liner bash note after another and what have you. And it's I just think it would be really cool. You've got the athlete, the super athlete, and then you've got how would you say, like, the super intellect? Right. Of the other person, plus all the money. With his superpowers, the money, with all the great toys.
Well, you've also got the ultimate idealist with the the ultimate jaded asshole, basically.
Pretty much. You got the ultimate prick.
Yeah, because Captain America is always polite. He is always 100% for the team. He is always dude, we're gonna get this, yay America. And Tony Stark is like, America kind of sucks, guys.
You might want to rethink that one.
Right. So, but when it comes down to it, they really do, at the bottom, at the core, they're fighting for the same thing.
Yeah, and that would, I think, make a good cinematic team up to see those two guys in one movie.
Very true.
We did though.
By themselves, Corey.
Oh,
just the two of them.
Dude, I just
quit looking at Silk Spectre costumes on Amazon.
Have you read any of Civil War yet?
Me?
Yeah,
I haven't had time. Like I said, with everything winding down into the winter months and being indoors more, I will have more time to read it. I mean, obviously, there's so many, trades and chapters to it. You're going to have to give me the whole series or at least the essential books. But I mean, I haven't had the chance to sit down and read it yet, but I look forward to it because I know it was a really, really great series. Like I've been told, like it's one of the best series that Marvel's done in several years.
They are diametrically opposed.
Mm-hmm. I do know that.
Anyway, though, it would be cool. I do like how they play off each other. They did a really good job with that in the Avengers movie, I thought, without making it a focal point. You know what I'm saying?
That's the great thing about Whedon, man. He's such a great writer, but he's not over talky. Right. Everybody goes on and on about, Quentin Tarantino, he's so great, he's so great, he's so great. I'm like, well, not so much for me because I feel like he talks too much. Whereas Whedon gets the point across quickly. You have exposition, you have dialogue, that's really great between characters, but it doesn't drag on and on and on.
Well, I think Whedon also thinks that his audience is smart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he doesn't pander to, if you don't get what this line just meant, we're just going to move on, and you ask your friends what it meant. He doesn't dwell on the points.
Right.
He throws it out there. If it sticks, great. If it doesn't, well, watch it again.
Well, it's just like, to quote Neil Adams, one of his favorite things about, I think it's the videos on YouTube where he talks about how one of the favorite things that he loves about comic books is that, a kid reading a comic book is one of the few times where they'll actually, if they find a word they don't understand, they'll go find a dictionary, or in this case, these days, look it up and Google online, and they'll Google it and want to find out what that character's saying. And
exactly.
same with Whedon. He thinks you're intelligent enough to figure this thing out for yourself.
Right.
You don't have to be
pander
spoon-fed. Yeah, he's not going to spoon-feed you.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right. My number one, it's not... One of them is going to come as no surprise. The other is not one of my favorite characters. But when you mix these two, it's magic. And that's Daredevil and Spider-Man. I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan. I do love his rogues gallery. I actually like all the Spider-Man movies except for Spider-Man 3. But when you put him and Daredevil together, it's really cool. Because if you guys read a lot of Daredevil, which I know you don't, or if you read a lot of Spider-Man, they're both kind of on the same level. Spider-Man, even having superpowers, he's still street level,
Right.
Yeah,
Spider-Man doesn't go up and start fighting Galactus and not getting his ass reamed. But,
Yeah.
And they get around the same way. If you read Daredevil has a cane, okay? Like, he's a blind guy, he has a cane.
Right.
Haha. Well, his cane is different. It can break. Okay?
His cane is different. It has a grappling hook in it.
I've been homesick all day, all right?
Oh, now we're going to blame it on this.
Blame it on the rain. Okay.
Corey, you were the most eloquent person I've seen in a while today.
Tits. Sorry. Okay. So his cane has like a cable in it, okay?
Right.
And he can like throw it and hold on to, the other half of it so it splits.
Yeah.
And he uses that to swing around a lot.
Correct.
Because the cool thing about Daredevil is he's the man without fear, okay?
Right.
Well, being the man without fear, he doesn't give two shits. He just jumps off of buildings, not knowing what he's about to go into. And he, through his sonic radar sense, he finds somewhere to hang off of, I mean, it's just what you get used to when you read Daredevil. He's very acrobatic. He's always up in the air doing something. Well, with Spider-Man, it's great because you got these two guys swinging around. They're both kind of snarky. And they play off of each other very well. And I think that there's a really cool mutual respect there between those two characters. So anytime I get to read a story that's Spider-Man with Daredevil, I'm extra happy about it because it just adds a new layer of cool to it.
They do kind of have the same sense of humor.
it's very similar. You don't really get that out of that movie,
right? But we don't talk about the movie.
Let's not bring it up again every week.
It's very
damn movie. But yeah. I mean, they're a really good team. I enjoy all those stories. Okay, so recapping our list here, we had, I guess you could say Watchmen got mentioned twice, but it was kind of different, so we're not going to say it was mentioned twice.
All right.
We got X-Men and Star Trek, Hulk and Superman, Watchmen in general, Green Arrow and Green Lantern, very color coordinated, Teen Titans and Flash, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Batman and Blue Beetle, Minutemen and Watchmen in a timey-wimey scenario, Animal Man and Swamp Thing, Judge Dredd and Cable, Captain America and Iron Man, and Daredevil and Spider-Man. Go together like bread and butter. So, okay, with all those being said, what do you guys think of the direction that the Marvel and DC cinematic universes are going? They're doing a lot more ensemble type movies, and there's going to be some crossovers. And there's rumors of Fox taking the X universe and making like X Factor and possibly X Force. Some of these kind of spin-off X titles with, bringing characters we know into it. What are some kind of movie scenarios you guys would like to see? Start with Michael.
Well, I don't even have a scenario yet, but the one thing I would want to make sure doesn't happen is kind of like the X-Men 3, Spider-Man 3 for me, where there's so many characters that they don't, like evenly focus on them, or they, set up stuff they're never gonna deliver on. And so I just want, and Joss Whedon's good at ensembles, so he was a great guy to help with Avengers. But I just want to make sure they don't overreach as they go with more and more characters and more teams. I'll probably have to actually give it just a little more thought on what I would like to see. But I'll do that as everybody else answers.
All right, Ben.
Okay, I'm going to start with where I think things are going. I believe, watching Avengers, they very systematically put out movies for most of these guys beforehand individually. And they set up the characters and everything that way, and then they made the Avengers, which is how the comics worked. You get these characters introduced, you know who they are, they have their own stories, and then you have the comics that bring them together. So I think movie makers are starting to figure out that this is how you have to do this. There's just too much backstory, there's too much to take on. You can't make a self-contained movie the way it is now. The Avengers had very little explanation as to where all these people come from. It just assumed you've seen all these other movies, you know what's happening with these people. So I think that's kind of where they're going to have to go with comic book movies from now on, and I think that's the lesson that they're learning at this point. Now, as to what I'd love to see happen, I would love more X-Men. X-Men is one of my favorite comics, and anything more that they do with X-Men would be awesome. Any spin-offs would be great, in my opinion.
Well, you definitely got Days of Future Past. That's
right.
happening.
I am very excited about that.
Later.
So X-Force and X-Factor, though, that would be pretty sweet, putting some of that together. I will have to go back and read the comics again, because it's probably been 20 years. But it would be nice if they would get some of that going.
I totally agree. X Factor is is Cable mainly X Force or X Factor?
X Force, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. They could really they'll do whatever the hell they want though.
They will.
This is true.
They'll
be like, they mentioned this dude's name in this? Okay, cool, bring him in.
Yeah, I think that the kind of the idea I got from what I heard about Fox saying that was they saw how successful Marvel Studios was with Avengers. They kind of want an X-Avengers kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
And they could do that as long as they handle it right.
They could. Like I said, though, they're gonna have to start years in the making. Putting other movies out to build the characters first.
Right.
and then do the big one.
Yeah, you can't. The Avengers didn't happen overnight.
Right. It didn't. It took, what, maybe 8 years?
4 years.
4 years, 8 years.
Well, if you count.
Well,
Iron
Maybe,
Man,
if you go back and count all the movies.
You got to start with Iron Man 1, though.
Right.
That was 08.
Was that 08?
That was
I'm
08.
so old.
Iron Man 1 came out in 2008?
Yeah. That one and Incredible Hulk were 08s.
Oh.
Well, see, that's where it started.
Wow. That's a shorter period of time than I thought.
It is. But still, that's a lot of years, though.
Well, also these days they have multiple films now, whereas back in the old days you had maybe one superhero film a year for like 2 or 3 years.
That's true.
Unless you counted Golden Globus, Canon Group. I'm joking. Unless you count those, the major studios, they weren't investing any money in this stuff. Because even with the success of Superman movies, and even with, it's going to be 25 years next summer when Burton's Batman came out and cleaned up at the box office, studios still weren't turned on to this thing as something that was bankable. And now, with technology and everything else, and it's proven to make millions, if not billions of dollars, everybody's wanting to do something.
Yeah, they're not very quick to catch on.
What do you guys think about? Let's flip the coin here. What do you want to see from your villains?
Ooh, villains.
Legion of Doom.
Oh, that would be cool.
Legion of Doom. That
would be amazing. If they
You're not talking about Hawk and Animal from WWF, are you? Or was it WCW?
So no.
Am I getting them mixed up?
Do you mean Animal Man?
No. I want to see an Animal Man movie. I don't think it would market itself. It'd take some serious marketing, which I don't think DC has the slightest clue on how to do.
No, they
but an Animal Man movie would be so awesome, dude.
I think if they Alex Ross did it a few years ago. He did a series called Justice, and it was basically a more, I don't know, I guess you could say a more adult take on JLA versus Legion of Doom. That was a really good story, and it had every character, and it even had Metallo in it. It even had the sub characters of Justice League, like the Teen Titans and everyone in there. And you wouldn't have to cram everyone in, but that's a really awesome idea to do something like that. Would just be the ultimate for a JLA movie. You can bring on Darkseid, but like they're going to have for Thanos in Avengers 3, but it's, Legion of Doom. Wow, that would be absolutely, just couldn't even describe how crazy that'd be.
True. It makes sense. You've got the good guys coming together. Why can't the bad guys come together?
Exactly.
I realize it's less in their nature to do so, but
yeah,
you kind of keep getting a villain that can single-handedly take on all the Avengers or all the Justice League. That's hard to do. There's a lot of them.
Unless you're Doomsday or you're Darkseid or you're Thanos or even Doctor Doom, in that particular scenario, that's a really tall order to just take all of them on.
Yeah.
Next month is Forever Evil, right?
Yeah, it's Forever Evil's like, when I told Nikki about that, because my wife is all about the villains, dude. Even when we watch Star Wars, she's all about the bad guys, man. Even though, she just loves the villains. It's like her favorite thing. And when I told her Forever Evil was coming out, she was like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, I think we're going to have to get a trade to get the trade on these, and get the trade paperbacks." And she was actually intrigued. She's very literary, Ben. She reads a lot. She speed reads. Nice. She remembers a lot, and she speed reads. It's hard to keep her to have stuff to read. So I try if it's comic book related, she's you know, she's very picky about stuff she's going to
Right.
read. So
Right.
she wants it to have some kind of like, you know, Watchmen, some sophistication. So I
Yeah.
think she would really like to read that. But as far as villains go, I would really love to see an overall arc in a film for a particular villain that's well thought out and not thought out from film to film.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with Luthor looking like he's going to come into play in Man of Steel 2, there's rumors that he's the one who's going to figure out, oh, this is what's going to, you know, the kryptonite's what's going to weaken Superman. You know, this is, you know, he's going to, you know, Luthor's going to help rebuild the city. I mean, it's a really interesting thing. The fan films have already started to say Luthor's going to lead the charge and make himself look like a saint rebuilding the city, when what he's really trying to do is he's really going to try to take Superman out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, villain-wise, I would love to really see some really great, sophisticated, insightful writing for a character like that I really feel like could be done. Because, you know, I think Smallville had inklings of that, but I really don't feel like they followed through with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just shared that link from Amazon. That's the new 52 Villains Omnibus.
Nice.
Ooh.
$96.75.
Nice.
Speaking of villains, I'm really excited about the Maleficent movie coming out. You guys all know how I feel about her.
Oh, yeah.
No way. No, I had no idea.
Speaking of Maleficent, did you see that T-shirt?
Which one?
That one I posted to your Facebook page?
Oh, yes.
Looks like
That
the
was
66 Batman, but it's Maleficent.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Groovy.
I went ahead and ordered 2 of those.
You gotta have
so cool.
Matching.
Right?
That's another
but I
villain
even got
ridiculous.
Linda excited about that movie coming out, so I'll get to see that one in theaters.
When does it do?
I really don't know, honestly. 2014 sometime. May, I think, 2014.
Let's have a look at the old IMDb, shall we?
There you go. My computer's way over there.
Angelina right on top.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that's what he said. Let's see. Maleficent is in post-production for 2014.
Yep.
And there is no... Oh, July 29th. Let's see, that was updated July 29th of this past year, so there's still no... Let's see. Oh, beg your pardon. July 2nd, 2014. Mark it down.
July 2nd. Okay.
There you go.
That's the day before Belinda's birthday.
Oh, get out of here.
We will go on her birthday. That's going to happen.
Awesome.
That's going to happen.
2 birds with 1 stone.
Tell you, you're going to be racking into brownie points.
Absolutely. I'll take her to a wine and cheese bar and then go see Maleficent.
Woo! Yeah, those stills of her in the costume are... That's just
my
absolutely...
God.
It's creepy how much she looks just like her.
It really is.
I mean, and it doesn't look like they've used a lot of makeup.
It's craziness.
Phew, it's crazy good.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of Nikki's favorite Disney villains.
Oh man, she's the best.
Maleficent is wonderful.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, that's a good one there.
That's that $40 Amazon costume.
That's not bad.
I didn't realize it at the time I took the picture, but
Yeah, my oldest daughter has decided she wants to be Maleficent, so my mother and sister take it upon themselves to get spectacular Halloween costumes for my kids.
Yeah.
So they've ordered like the headdress already, and my sister has the gown with the frayed bottom and all that.
Wow.
So all we gotta do is find her a staff, and she's good to go.
Oh, man.
Just paint her green.
Go for it, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually that's one movie that Gracie just keeps watching over and over and over again.
Oh,
is
yeah.
Sleeping Beauty, and that's what she wants to be. She's kind of like, she's still tied with Belle, but that's kind of like, we've got a friend of ours making tutu dress kind of thing. That's kind of what she wants to be for Halloween. So she wants to be Aurora.
Yeah, my youngest wants to be Aurora, but she'll probably change her mind.
Yeah, mine did last year. I had Wonder Woman all bought and picked out, and then she changed her mind and wanted to be hello. She wanted to be Merida from Brave.
Yeah.
Merida's pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably what she'll end up being, because that's the costume she got, complete with bow and arrow set with little suction cup arrows for her birthday. So
awesome.
And the most amazing wig I've ever seen from Japan. Belinda put it on. It looks like real hair, just that bright red color.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely not real hair, but It looks like it. I was seriously impressed.
When I watched the first Heroes of Cosplay, I was impressed by the simplicity that Becky had, where she had a wig that was all curled up like Merida's hair, but it was not red, and she needed to make it red. What did she do? Magic marker. And it looks red.
Nice.
Really good. And I love the little 4-year-old, 5-year-old girl who was in a Belle costume dress, was at the convention in the lobby where Becky was going to show off her Merida outfit, and she ran right up to her and just, totally bought into it. I mean, she totally thought she was Merida and just loved it. And I was just like, that's what it's all about, man. They love that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So where were we again?
Bad guys, villains.
Bad guys, villains.
So this is villains pairings, right?
Yeah.
Or groupings, I guess.
That'd be a neat superhero film if it was just more about the villains in a good way.
Yeah.
Well, and definitely, some portrayals, perhaps more the cartoons, the villains are never villainous enough to where you don't totally hate them at the end of the day. Now, obviously, if you're reading like a Batman comic or something, you're not necessarily rooting for Joker. You may like him as a character, but he's pretty twisted.
He is.
So I guess depending on how they did the portrayal, you could make him likable, or just do what they did with Loki and make all the fangirls like him.
It was a smart move.
Oh man, Tom Hiddleston, he's got a sweet gig, man. He's doing it up
and
right.
What a fun part to play too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
If they ever redid the Joker anytime soon, he'd be the one to do it.
He's got the grin.
Dude, he's walking through the helicarrier hallway and he's in handcuffs and he just looks at Banner like, I'm checking you. It's coming. Don't worry. And he's got that grin on his face. I'm like, it ain't good.
Mm-hmm.
You knew. I mean, we were all kind of snickering in the theater last year. Like, holy crap.
Well, I like villains that have that are more gray than black. I do love Maleficent. She's obviously the epitome of absolute evil, but in general, villains that you can kind of understand why they want to do the things they are doing.
Right.
Like you can sympathize with that. You're like, yeah, man, your life is terrible and that really sucks. This just really isn't the right answer. So, people that you have to stop, but you really understand where they're coming from.
Exactly.
I think what's interesting too is bringing that up. Kind of goes back to why I think, especially now more than ever, villains movies could work, since we have so many of those kind of quote unquote anti-heroes on TV now that we follow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the precedent's kind of already there.
Well, look at Hannibal.
Mm-hmm.
Hannibal Lecter. Those movies are about him. It's not about the good guy catching the bad guy.
Not anymore.
Yeah, it's about him. It's about this guy. Yeah, he was caught, but he escapes and does all these things. Look at this, And you're kind of, even at the end, even after all the horrible stuff he's done, you kind of like, yeah, I really kind of want him to get away again.
Mm-hmm.
Have you watched the show yet?
I have not watched the show.
We've watched all but I think we watched the first 8 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
And the show's before he got caught the first time, right?
Yeah, it takes place before Red Dragon.
Okay, yeah.
It's pretty good. I like it a lot, actually. But it makes you, and even the movies, if you watch Silence of the Lambs, it's really kind of difficult not to like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
And he's not a good guy.
He is
just
not
pure evil.
Yeah. Well, there's
nothing good about this dude at all.
For me, it's like it's what would happen if probably the most brilliant psychological mind, someone who's a psychiatrist and everything else, if the most brilliant of them all turned evil.
Yeah.
It's
Moriarty with a little less self-control.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is.
I nailed it on the head.
he has to eat people. He has a compulsion.
Yeah,
so
it's just lip smack.
Exactly.
He's so brilliant, and I kind of wonder if it's just the fact that he's just so much in control of himself,
right?
Physically, mentally, and he doesn't look necessarily threatening until he's threatened.
Yeah,
It's like
well,
if you,
he's a predator, absolutely, and nothing else.
Yep.
I mean, he has patience. And, I mean, he will sit there and do nothing until you think, well, he's not capable of anything. And then once he strikes, it's too late. You're done.
Well, it's like in Hannibal, the film, which was much better than the book. I did read the book, by the way.
Did you read the book?
Yes, I did read the book. That's one freaky deaky book. And I'm glad they left, I'm glad they left the sister out of the main villain. I can't remember his name off the top of my head for some reason. The one that Gary Oldman played. Cardell. But the movie was so much better. It's like, but it's like it's yeah, and Verger, and when nothing was more threatening or scary to me when Clarice handcuffed Dr. Lecter.
Oh yeah,
and his patience was running out very quickly. That fuse was lit and it was running out really fast. And when he finally is about to snap and he wants out of those handcuffs, period, that scared us, I think, more than some of the other, horrific scenes of, Verger getting eaten by the boars and, or anything. That it's because, that's how dangerous, when you know how dangerous something is like that, when they have that kind of snapping fit, which is almost comes out of nowhere. They're calm one minute and they snap the next. To me, that's even more scary.
I will say this, though, about that scene. I think Lecter, being as intelligent as he is, and watching him go through all these things, he does not care about other people's pain, but he also doesn't care about his own pain, honestly. He's a predator. He's going to kill people. He's going to eat people, but it's kind of like, obviously he cuts his own hand off, right?
Yeah.
So he's willing to chew his own way out of a trap. However, as intelligent as he is, he does have these higher level thinking abilities. And so he forms these lines that he will not cross. And, he was going to kill Edward Norton's character. But as he even told him, I'm going to make sure this is not painful for you because I respect you. And then, but then he respects Clarice even so much more than that he's like, okay, that is someone that I'm going to hold up, as close to my level. So, no, she's off limits.
Right.
And even as, sadistic and wild and crazy as he is still able to say, nope, this is the line I've drawn for myself. It's not the same line as a civilized human, but this is my line. Not going to cross it.
He has his own warped sense of morality.
Right.
And once again gives him another distinctive characteristic. Once again, they get back around to the point, what do you want to see in villains in the films that are coming out with DC and Marvel? I want to see villains that are not just blowing things up, or not just, causing chaos and injuring and killing people for just no reason whatsoever. I want there to be more layering, more textures, more insight into the characters, even if they weren't originally that way in the comic necessarily. If it, as long as you don't stray too far away from the source material, there's got to be more there. And people like Whedon can put that into. I think that's where Marvel's hit the gold mine, is they got Whedon to do Avengers. They got him to supervise the next series of films that are going to lead all the way up to Part 3, because they've got him, and they've got him for, if I'm not mistaken, the next 2 films. And then now they're putting out Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on television, which is what I'm looking forward to most out of the fall season.
Yes.
So, it's a great time. And like Corey said, DC's got to crack the code, dude, on this, because Marvel's had their age of films since about... Blade did reasonably well, but when the first X-Men film came out, it blew the lid off for Marvel films in general, I think, to give them the momentum they needed to keep going and, get to Spider-Man, to get to X-Men 2, to get all the way to Iron Man, and get all the way to Avengers and beyond. And it's it's going to get more wild and crazy. I never really was very interested in Captain America as a character, and then when I saw what they did with him with the first Avenger, I love it. That's probably one of more of my favorite films out of all of the lead-up films to the Avengers than most of the other films. Don't know why. I guess it's just I really love the fact that that's
really
a
well
character.
Put together.
Yeah, it's Joe Johnston's best film.
Captain America was awesome.
That's actually one that keep wanting Belinda to watch. I have to convince her to actually start watching them, but that's one that she would actually really enjoy. It's, and I always kind of thought of Captain America as a little stuffy. I mean, I have the same opinion, I guess, as Tony Stark of him, but in that movie, you really see where he's coming from.
And I love that. Well, who wouldn't? But Haley Atwell's in it. But you have a good character for him to bounce off of.
Right.
Once again, you have chemistry, you have good writing, you have good actors to bring those characters to life, and he has someone good to bounce off of. And I really didn't see that much in the comics. But then again, I don't know everything there is to know about it. But I just, like you said, it was a well done film, and I really enjoyed it. And I got Nikki to sit down finally. She's like, "Okay, let's do this," because they kept playing them on Epics, and I was wearing her out. So she's just like, "Okay, let's just sit down and watch these things." And she actually likes Thor more than Captain America.
Really?
Little surprising, but not. Well, come on, it's Hemsworth, dude. What do you expect?
Yeah, right.
She likes him tall and blonde and scruffy. So I'm the exception, but it happens.
Sounds like a dog.
Yeah, well, he's on the bed. He's asleep.
Hey, man, it's like cosplay we talk about all the time. We've got all this eye candy, for lack of a better term.
That's exactly.
If the ladies can get some eye candy, God bless them. I think it's wonderful.
There you go.
True.
And dude, for God's sake, if it gets your woman to go to a movie about Thor, which most women before that movie came out couldn't give two shits about Thor.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing. It's good for the geek community. We need more ladies involved in everything.
Oh, she's totally supportive. I married a geek. I did marry a geek. She's getting even more drawn in as we speak. I mean, little by little.
I'm working on mine.
There you go.
So she's digging a lot of things. She still hates Heroes of Cosplay. She thinks it's a terrible show. But it's mainly because everybody whines on there, not because she hates cosplay.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm afraid Nikki. I said, so what do you think? She said, well, there's an hour of my life I'll never get back.
I was gonna say that's what most of the people in the cosplay community have said. So she's not really an outlier there. Show her the PBS documentary on cosplay, and then see what she thinks.
Gotcha.
Yeah, my problem with Belinda, she just, anything she hears to do with comic books or video games that's not like Super Mario Brothers, she's like, no, that's stupid. Don't even bring that around here. So I'll have to sneak movies in a lot. Like, I'll sneak movies in and not tell her it's a comic book movie until it's already started, and then it's too late.
What was this about again?
Right, yeah, we're going to watch The Losers. What's that? It's just a movie, It was, and then at the end, what's all these images? Well, this is the comic book, images from there. This is a comic book movie? Yeah.
Yeah, I told Nikki, I was like, she even asked me, she's like, so they're doing a Thor 2? I said, yeah. She's like, so when are we going to go see that? It's like when I told her, like, it was back in 2008, and when the first Iron Man was coming out, and I said, yo, they're coming out with Iron Man this summer, and she's like, I really just don't care. And I said, let me show you the trailer. And she's like, oh, Downey Jr.'s in it. When are we going to go see it? I'm like, holy crap.
That's right. I know how to pull your strings.
There you go, man. We were there opening weekend without fail.
Nice. It is kind of sad, though, because if she says, hey, this is really good, you would like it, then I'll be like, okay, well, let's watch it. But if I say that, she's like, no, you're stupid.
Amen.
So Corey,
Where's the trust?
I think there's already another podcast idea. You need to be like, yeah, well, either that, you could either have the wives do one, the significant others, or just do like an advice column for geeks. Like they call in.
That's neat.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I actually thought of doing a spin-off where it's just like Ben's wife and Posey's wife and my wife and Patrick's wife basically just talking shit about us. Because I guarantee that's what would end up happening ultimately. They would sit here on the computer at first and be really awkward and then be like, man, I really hate it when Patrick buys this shit from Amazon. And Susan's like, I just don't understand why Corey needs all these busts and masks and figures to just gather dust. And I don't know what Belinda would bitch about with Ben. Maybe,
well,
I hate that anime.
She does hate anime. All the, as she puts it, cartoon naked women. That's what she calls it. And I'm like, you realize they're not naked. They just prominently display the female body part. She's like, whatever. It's the same thing.
Oh man, that would be cool.
And whenever we're sitting there and she'll turn on a TV show and I'll pull out a book and she's like, "You're not gonna watch this with me?" Well, yeah, I am, but this story is really great, so I'm gonna read.
I swear, you should have been there, and I wish I had a video camera or something when we went and saw Best of Both Worlds at the theater. And Corey's got his little recorder with the mic.
Right.
And Nikki's on my right, and Corey's here a little bit further away on my left, and he's getting reactions, and he's got his mic out, and Nikki's talking. I can't remember if it was Eric Williams or she's talking to Beth or what. She was talking to someone else, and I swear that mic is just snaking its way over inch by inch, little by little, and till he finally had it as close as he could get without being right in her face. It was like right in front of me, and I'm like, I don't remember, Corey, but did you not just see me kind of back out of frame somewhere? And then all of a sudden, she sees the mics right there, and she gives him the look like, you better get that thing away from me. I thought his face was going to go flying off somewhere that night, because when she found out, because I tried to get her, I was like, well, he's going to want everybody's reaction for the podcast, and it's going to be audio and everything. She's like, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not going to do that. And I was like, that's just a stroke of genius, but I'm glad I stepped like 2 paces back, man.
Yep. Wonderful.
She did fine.
I know. I tell her that all the time. I was like, you could do this.
That's the whole thing. When they're not thinking about it, they say what they need to.
Yep.
Exactly.
You just get nervous.
Exactly. So there you go.
There we go.
All right. Anybody got anything else they want to say other than Michael's inspired idea about the ladies of Vitamin Geek talking?
That is a great idea.
That is.
I think
brilliant. Mike.
I think there's no way under the sun we could convince them to make this happen.
Probably not.
But I think it would be a good idea.
I think if they all got together, we kind of helped cater the event and give them a nice place to just kind of sit round table.
Cater it? What, we going to bake cookies?
No, Long Island iced teas. That's what.
Get
what
some.
we're gonna need.
Yeah, Long Island teas, Sex on the Beach, Spike the Punch, whatever.
What kind of show is this?
Get them sitting around in a round table discussion, and then we leave them alone.
Right.
And just let them talk, and then when they're done, they'll come. They'll page us or something. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, brilliant idea, Mike.
I can't even get all y'all around the table.
Plan it ahead of time, Grandma.
We get them to do it quarterly, one show quarterly.
Yeah, one show every 6 months.
Ladies who live with and suffer through the Vitamin Geek process.
Yeah, folks, that'll be our break from not doing a show. Is just having the ladies of Vitamin Geek podcast.
All right, guys. Yeah, let's call it a night. It is late.
It is late.
And this show is going to be long.
But grandiose.
I'm not editing tonight. This will be going out tomorrow.
Sweet.
So, signing out for our wonderful Michael Miller, who likes, I don't even want to call him a guest, because he's almost a regular.
I don't want to label him with that.
But he is a guest because I'm like, hey, come on the show. And he's like, okay. Signing off for Michael Miller.
Hasta la vista.
Nice. And Ben Hawkins.
Dread and Cable, make it happen.
He has spoken. And last but certainly not least, Patrick Sykes.
Only the Shadow knows.
Oh, speaking of Shadow, I saw at least 2 Shadow cosplayers.
Good for them. Good for them.
I never could get a good picture, though.
If you
Good
see
for them.
3 behind somebody, back away.
Check your glasses.
It's about to go down.
Yeah.
And I have been your host, who is yawning, Corey Keelan. We will be back next week with another show. Could tell you guys what it's about, but then I'd have to kill you, and that's a lot of people to kill. So we're not going to do that. So as always, go read some comics, do something geeky, and hug a nerd. Good night.
Take 2 of these and call me in the morning.